There's been a total of 20 updates inside of Bubblegum Simulator Infinity, and within those 20 updates we have gotten hundreds and hundreds of new pets. So in today's video, I thought it'd be cool to rank all over 700 of them. Now the last time I did this with Bubblegum Simulator 1, it took me over 3 hours to rank every pet. And then we don't have that many pets today, it's still going to take us a really long time. So if you do enjoy today's video, make sure to subscribe because this did take me a really long time to make. And I'm trying to hit 14k, so you know anything helps out. But with that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So here we are once again on the tier maker website. And as you guys can see, we have every single bgsi pet right here. So if you just go ahead and keep scrolling down, you can see there's a lot of pets. Almost 800 of them, so that's like 500 less than BGS1. As you can see, I had to add a few a little bit late, so that's why all these are down here. But also, if you have noticed, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. As you can see, we have all the normal pets up here, and if we scroll down a little bit, we have all of the mythic pets. I didn't rank all the mythic pets in BGS1 because that would take a while, but there really hasn't been a lot of pets inside Bubblegum Simulator Infinity yet. We can go ahead and rank all the mythics too. Alright, then we also have our rankings right here, S being the best, F being the worst. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started, you know. We're starting off with the doggy, pure classic. For the funnies, I'm just putting in an S tier. I mean, cause why not, you know. But let's actually dive in. We have the Abyss Kitty. This comes from at the season 6 egg, and design wise it is pretty cool for a common. I mean, a lot of these pets are really good in design, so it's going to be pretty hard to put some pets in F tier. We'll see what comes around though. I think for the time being, I'll go ahead and put this in C tier. Alright, so now we have the Abyssal Dragon. It's a pretty old pet inside the game, but I still like it. And since it's our first legendary, I think I'm going to go ahead and put that in B tier. Alright though, up next we have the Abyssal Sea Dragon. Now, unlike a lot of these pets that come from Bubblegum Simulator 1, this comes from pet catchers. And I've heard people say like the model is exactly the same as pet catcher's model. Nonetheless, it's still a good secret pet, and I'm going to put it in A tier. Alright though, now we have the Abyssal Wanderer. I can't even remember where half of these things come from. I haven't got a chance to see this all my life. Anyways, I believe this is another one of those legendary pets, and I do think it looks pretty cool, so I'm going to put that with the Abyssal Sea Dragon. Actually, Abyssal Dragon, it's easy to get those two mixed up. I'm going to put it in B tier though. Alright, so now we have the Ace. I'm kind of sad they downgraded it to a legendary pet. I would be really excited if this came back as a secret. To pay respects for the Ace, I'm going to put it in A tier. Alright, so now we have our first Basilisk. I hope I'm saying that right. We have the Air Basilisk. Now, despite this pet being really old compared to most of these things here, don't get me wrong, these are super cool. Let me actually try and find the rest if I can. Alright, there's the Fire Basilisk and the Ice Basilisk. And where's that Electric Basilisk? Here it is. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and rank all the Basilisks at once. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put all 4 of them in S tier. Why not, you know? We all love the Basilisks, they're super cool. Especially the Mythics, but we're gonna get to that later. Alrighty though, now we have the Amalgamation. It's pretty much a pile of common pets. That's the best way I can explain it. Nothing too crazy going on with that. I'm gonna give it like a high C tier, not gonna lie. Alright, now we have the Ancient One. I think the Ancient One is a pretty cool looking pet. Way better than the Amalgamation, to be honest. I think I'm gonna put that in A tier. But now we have another old pet. We have the Angel. Added all the way back on release. Pretty much one of those classic pets, you know? But yeah, nothing really going on with this right here. I'm gonna place it in C tier. As for the Angel Bee, I mean, it's a bit of a step up. So I think I'm just gonna put the Angel Bee in B tier. And for the Angelic Bunny, which personally I think is the coolest looking angel in BGSI, I might as well go ahead and put that in B tier too. I might move it down to C tier later on. Same with the Angel Demon right here. It's alright, but I'm gonna put it in B tier for the time being. Anglerfish on the other hand. Compared to all these other legendaries and secret pets we've gotten with really cool designs, it's just a basic anglerfish, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and put that in C tier. Alright, now we've arrived at our first 2 federations. We have the Arch Something Federation and Arch Other Something Federation. I'm not gonna try and find their names, but I do like the federations. They are a cool design, and I do remember these being exclusive pets in Mining Sim 2 alongside the other like 7 federations, I think, maybe 8, but I'm putting them in A tier. Alright, now we have the Atlantis Guardian. A really big step up from its BGS1 version. I mean, they could have just made it a crab and called it a day, which I mean they did, but way better. A tier for sure. Alright, now we have the Avernus. Alright, another one of those really old pets. One of the very first secret pets in the game. But yeah, I'm gonna put the Avernus in A tier. But let me know if you got a secret not released in the comments below. I want to know how many of you guys were lucky way early on in the game. Alright, though, anyways, we have the Axolotl plushie. I think they pretty much just took the Axolotl baggie from pet catchers and just removed the bag just to make this pet. It does come back in the Mythic version though. Nothing too special going on with this Axolotl plushie. I'm putting it in B tier. Alright, now we have the Baby Blue Bee, our second bee we're ranking. And I suppose for now, I'm putting it in B tier. Just because the bees in B tier is funny. And I might move them down. But now for our Beach Boys. It's a classic, you know. And all my boys go in B tier. But now we move on to another classic pet, the bear. Out of the big four in BGS, this is the most forgotten. I don't think anyone remembers the bear. So I'm putting that bear in C. But now next we have the BBB. Basically 3 bees with a honeycomb powder behind it. It's a really cool tier 3 legendary. I do remember this being called something else inside BGS 1. And it didn't have this cool honeycomb powder behind it. I think it was called the Honeycomb Trio. Nonetheless, I think it's cool to see it make a return, but I'm putting the BBB in BBA tier. Alright, now we have another secret pet. We have the Beelzebub. We have this Beelzebub. I don't even know how I'm supposed to pronounce that. And I'm not really gonna try, so we'll just place this in A tier, I guess. Alright, another pet catcher's pet. We got the Bermuda Triangle now. Another pet from pet catchers. I remember grinding all night to get this thing. Imagine a king crab made a return in like its huge form. If only gigantic Spitty was that big. Alright, I think the Bermuda Triangle is pretty cool. I'm gonna put that in A tier. Alright though, now we got the Beta TV. Before we had animated pets like the, I don't think the Cthulhu was animated. The Toilet Doggy, that's sort of animated. But the Elder and Sea Champion, whatever that was, the first actual animated secret pet. Same goes for the Danger of the Abyss here. Before all of that, we had the Beta TV, and even Round was on this thing. And you know, it's a pure classic. I'm putting it in an A tier. Maybe a low S tier because it's an OG pet. I mean, I don't see why not. But now for the BGS box. Or well, OG box as it was called back in BGS 1, I think. Maybe it was called something else, but do correct me if I'm wrong. The first secret pet you could buy from a merchant, and I never got to see it. But yeah, it contained some secret pets, some classic pets. But let me know if you got the BGS box in the comments below. I'm gonna put this in B tier. Alright though, now we got the Big B. As the name implies, it's just a Big B. I don't really have any comments on this thing. Besides the fact it was in the Season 4 pass, I put it in C. Alright though, now we have the Bionic Shard. I think this is really cool. And it was another one of those pets added really early on into the game. BGS's prime, I would say. And back then, I hatched like a lot of these things. It was pretty crazy. I even auto-deleted this thing. I still like it though, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and place this into A tier. Alright, now we have the Black Rain Frog. I think this here is like a reference to Nerd's profile picture or something. I mean, he does send an image of a Black Rain Frog. Hopefully he doesn't hate me for this, but I'm gonna put the Black Rain Frog in C. I'm sorry, nerd. Alright, now we have the Blaze. I don't even know where this came from. I think it was an exclusive pet. I still think it looks pretty nice, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. Alright, now we have arrived at the Bloom Shifter. We're starting to get into those pets that were bugged when the Dreamer update came out. I've heard people say the pet here is still bugged. I don't know if that's true or not, but let me know. I think it looks really cool though, so I don't see why we shouldn't put it in S tier. A lot of stuff on this list might actually go in S tier today, because there's a lot of really cool things here. Alright, now we have the Blue Raspberry Snow Cone. Back when the game didn't update for a full week, we had these things. And at the time, this was the rare secret pet I've hatched. That was not a shiny. I'm gonna put it at the top of A tier. Alright though, now we got this Bongoing Kitty. You know, another one of those pet catchers classic, and I think it was animated. I don't know because I didn't have one, unfortunately. If it wasn't animated though, you know, it would be a total shame. Like, seeing it play the drums back in pet catchers was really fun. I'm putting it in A tier. As for the Bow Bunny on the other hand, I mean, they didn't really do much to the bunny, but just add a bow to it and change its color a little bit. So I'm gonna put it in C. Alright, now we have the Broken TV. The Beta TV's long lost brother. Basically, it's broken. I mean, what else can I really add? And I don't think it plays anything. I think it's just static. So I'm just gonna put the Broken TV in B. Alright, now we got the Bronze Bunny. I think this was in like the 200 mil egg. And you know, it's just another reskin. Nothing too crazy. Alright, now we have the family of Brus. And man, did these things fall off. Hard. And I'm just gonna rush through these things. So the original bruh, I guess you can get S tier. I don't know who the rest of you guys are, so you're all going in C tier. So C tier for you, C tier for this brat. The bruh god, I mean, I'll put in A tier. This bruh duaddle, I guess you get C tier. And the bruh split, I think I'll put you in A tier. Matter of fact, move the bruh up to B tier. But this thing. This little bro on the other hand trying to be smart and copy the wonderful round kitty. Just no. F. Anyway, so we now have the Bug Amber. Now, just for a tier 2 legendary, this was really cool. Just for that, I'm giving it A tier. And now we have the Bumblebee. And I mean, it's basically just the big bee. I mean, if we even just put them side by side. I even thought they were the same size at some point. But they're in C tier. Alright, now we have the bunny and the bunny. Just because the bunny's OG, I'm just gonna put it in A tier. But as for the long bunny on the other hand, I guess we'll just go in B. Alright, now we have the bunny cone. I think this here is pretty cool. You know, the bunny's sitting in a cone here, and its head's covered in ice cream. I'm gonna put it with the other bunnies in B tier. As for the bunny doggy on the other hand, despite them just changing their colors, they gave him a nice little hat something, kinda looks like a headband. I'll give it low B tier. Moving on though, we have the bunny top hat, the first of many, like 7. Those we'll get to later on. But let's start with the bunny top hat. It's basically a big bunny inside a top hat, basically supersized to become a secret pet. It's not much, so I'm putting it in B tier. Alright though, now we have the candy winged Hydra, a pure classic, you know. It's been in Mining Simulator 2, it's been in Bubblegum Simulator 1, and it came back again. Yeah, I'm kind of debating if I want to put this in B tier or A tier. I mean, most of the legendaries have already gone into A tier, so I don't see why we wouldn't add another. Alright though, now we have the Captain Bruh. I don't think we've ranked any quest pets yet. So yeah, this here's our first quest pet we're going to be ranking. There's a few others we'll get to later on also. Alright though, I'm going to put the Captain Bruh here. I'm going to put that in B tier. Following the Captain Bruh, we have the Captain Monkey. It's pretty much the same thing, except the monkey now has an eye patch. Is an eye patch enough to get him into A tier though? I don't think so. As for the Captain's Curse though, this looks really cool. And I believe this is like the rarest thing you can ever hatch from like the eggs, the season eggs. Yup, even rarer than a Prisma. 1 in 200,000. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Alright, so now we have the Capybara plushie. We had a lot of capybaras and pet catchers. I would really like to see more capybaras in this game. We need some more characters, you know. But I like the Capybara plushie. I'm gonna put it in A tier. And we'll go ahead and do the same with the Cardinal Bunny right here. A really OG legendary pet. All the way back from update 1. I actually had to trade like an overlord away to get the last of these I need to like make a shiny. Pretty crazy stuff, but now we have the Carrot Pufferfish. The Pufferfish is another classic, obviously. If you played Beaches 1 really early on, you've probably seen this thing. And it's still munching on carrots. I'm putting it in A tier. Alright though, now we have the Cave Bat. And there's really not much for me to add on that thing. It's basically just a bat. I'm putting it in C. The Cave Mole Rat, I think it's called, has a little bit of style to it, you know. It's got itself a hard hat, also a lamp, but where's its hands? I mean, just imagine that. Imagine a pet with hands. I think bgsi is on some VeggieTales stuff where everyone just has invisible hands. B tier. Alright, now we have the Celestial Bruh. I think out of all the bruhs, this one looks the coolest. Or well, the coolest one we have gotten to right now. I'm gonna put that in A tier. Alright, now we have the Celestial Split. A pet that was introduced to us last week, and it comes from Bubblegum Simulator 1, so it's pretty OG, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put the Celestial Split in B. High B tier though. I might move it up to A tier later. And now I got the Cerebus. I don't know if anyone remembers this pet like at all. So those who don't, you can basically earn the pet on the Hyperwave Island from the overworld rewards. Alright, so that's a quick refresher. I'm gonna put this one in A tier, I guess. So yeah, I guess with that being said, I might as well move up the Celestial Split. Moving on though, now I have the Chance Dragon. Another forgotten pet and a forgotten egg. And this is pretty cool looking though, so I'll put it in B tier. Alright though, we've now arrived at our next snow cone. So here we got the Cherry Snow Cone, which I'm going to go ahead and place in A tier. And this snow cone right here has some new eyes, it has a straw, and of course a cherry, you know, pretty obvious stuff. Alright, well now we got the Chest Mimic. Another one of those legendary pets from out the Pirate Egg, alongside the Captain's Curse. Where did I just throw it at? Oh, it's right here. Alright, I'm going to place this in A tier. We'll move it right alongside the Captain's Curse. Alright, anyways, now we got the Chocolate Bunny. And I don't think lots of people remember this thing too. And to get this pet, you had to complete the Easter event index. So this was the only limited index pet. I think it looks pretty cool though. I'm kind of debating on B or an A tier though. I'm gonna place it in, we'll go high B tier, I suppose. Anyway, so we got our first Sunday champion. We start off with the chocolate one. And in total, I managed to hatch one of these. Before the 500 mil, like these were considered the easiest secrets ever. And they look pretty cool, you know. I'm putting them in A tier. Alright though, now we got the Kronos, the pet you get from hatching 10 million eggs. Despite the fact literally everyone has one now, I still like it, and I'll still give it A tier. Alright, now we have the Chubby Bunny. I think that's what it's called. Basically a bunny with marshmallows inside of it. Come to think of it, it's not even a bunny. It's a jar shaped like a bunny. I do think this is one of the good reskins. I'm gonna place it in B tier though. Clown emoji. This pet just screams F. I mean, I think that's what I really wanted. So F. Alright, so now we got the competitive doggy. All the way back from Series 1, not Season 1, Series 1, aka competitive. But yeah, it's not tough, there's no way bro's winning a competitive season. And with a fit like this, I think he only got like 5,000 points. C. Contrast. It was really nice to see this one come back. Same with its mythic version, it looks so cool. With that, I'm definitely putting that one in A tier. Alright, now we got the corrupt glitch. Another one of those secret pets downgraded to a legendary. And way later on, the Demon Lord would take its place. Kinda crazy stuff. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put the corrupt glitch in A tier. Despite not being a secret pet anymore, it still looks really good for a legendary. Alright, now we have the cosmic deer, I think. I don't even know what some of these pets are called. But yeah, we have this cosmic deer thingy right here. It's an alright reskin. I'm still gonna put it in C though. Alright though, Cosmic Herald. Now for a permanent legendary like the Atlantis Guardian, this is so cool. Honestly my favorite looking legendary pet. Besides the Ace. That's getting A tier. Alright, now we have whatever this federation is called. All I know is that it just starts with C. So I'm just going to call it the Cinnamon Federation. The Cinnamon Federation goes in A tier, alongside these other two Arch Federations. Crab. Alright, this is just a silly looking pet, you know. But Crab goes in C tier. Matter of fact, just high C tier, I guess. Alright, now we have the Cream Snow Cone. I don't even think these things exist in real life. I haven't seen a Cream Snow Cone before. Cherry, yes. Blue Raspberry, yes. Cream, I don't know. At this point, I would probably just call it the Tropical Snow Cone, because I think the thing this pet has in its head is a pineapple. But now we got the Crescent Empress. The first pet I've gotten from out the Infinite Pass. Let me know what your first was in the comments below, but I'm gonna go ahead and place this one in like low A tier. I hope you guys haven't forgotten about these pets. Alright though, now we got a cool one, the Crimson Blood Moon. I still have to get the shiny version of this. I hope that happens. I might do some training for it, but I'm gonna put it in A tier though. But following that, we have the Crimson Butterfly. For a tier 1, it is really cool looking. However, it is pretty basic. And I mean, it is a tier 1 legendary in fact, at the end of the day. So B tier. Alright though, Crystal Teddy on the other hand. Another one of those secret pets downgraded to a legendary. But instead of just being a legendary pet, it's an exclusive legendary pet. So it's somewhat special. I miss it being a secret though. If only it was much larger, it could easily be one, but A tier. Alright though, now we move on to the Crystal Unicorn. Another one of those basic tier 1 legendary pets. But to give it credit, it did give me a lot of mystery boxes. I'm still putting it in B tier though. Alright, now we have the Cthulhu right here, another sea monster. Just like the Kraken down here, and another pet I'm not gonna say the name of. And I don't think like 100 of these even exist, even though the pet has been in the game for like, I think a month now. Crazy how time flies, but I'm still gonna put it in A tier. Also, if you guys have not noticed, this is from Pet Catchers. Alright, anyways, we got the Cute Deer. I think that's what it's called. And despite the pet's color changing a little bit, they just added a bow on top of its head. It's pretty basic stuff, so I'm just putting it in C tier. Sharp Wolf on the other hand. I do like what they did with the eyes, not gonna lie. So I'm kinda debating on low B tier or a high C tier. C tier looks kinda empty right now, so I'll just place it right there. As for the Cyborg Phoenix on the other hand, it's a nice legendary pet. It's a tier 1 though, so I'm putting it in B tier. Alright, now we move on to an OG bounty secret pet. We have the Doggy 1337. And another one of those cool pets from Pet Catchers too. And back in Pet Catchers, this was like a global secret pet. I think at the time the Doggy 1337 was a global secret pet. I think the Prophet was also a global secret pet at the time. So wherever the Prophet goes, the Doggy 1337 follows. But I'm gonna put the Doggy 1337 in A tier. But now we got the cool trio. More like the fake hoarded and manipulated trio. And the only hood they made it out of was the suburbs. D. Alright, now we move on to the Danger of the Abyss. It's another one of those animated secret pets. Actually, I think this is the first animated secret pet that we're ranking right now. I'm really glad I got this in the season pass. I was really happy. But yeah, I'm debating on S tier or A tier. But S tier is really empty. We need some more pets in there, so S tier. Dark Bat though, if you just put that in S tier, that looks completely out of place. So yeah, C tier for that. Alright, though, continuing on, we have the first of our 4 champions. We got the Dark Champion. Really cool secret pet. Now, unlike the Sunday champions, these are permanent. You can get them anytime. And from Bubblegum Simulator 1 and Mining Simulator 2, well, actually twice, they've changed a lot again. I'm still going to put them in A tier though. Let me know your guys' favorite champion in the comments below, you know. Alright, now we got, I think this is the Dark Dragon. This comes from the Spiky Egg. It's an epic pet. I mean, I can't really add much. I'm just gonna put it in C tier. Alright, now we got this Dark Golem. I mean, really not much going on with that. I mean, the spikes are a nice purple color, but I mean, it's just the tips. That's really it. So, low C tier. Now for the Dark Guardian. If this wasn't in the game, the Abyssal Sea Dragon right here would be called the Deep Dark Guardian. But it was called the Abyssal Sea Dragon, so there wouldn't be any confusion. Nonetheless though, the Dark Guardian is a pretty cool secret pet, to say the least. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Alright, now we got this Dark Jellyfish. Alright, for a legendary pet, you gotta admit, this is really cool. I'm gonna put it in high A tier. I could go low S tier, we might do that later. But remember, we got a lot of mythic pets to rank too. That's gonna take up a lot of S tier. Dark Kitty on the other hand, I mean, this is the most simplistic design we've gotten so far. It looks like the kitty if it was a corporate design. So I'm sorry, I'm putting that in high D tier. Alright, now we got the Dark Lord. The pet you get from blowing 1 trillion bubbles, and literally everyone has it now. Milestones did numbers for this pet, but I'm debating if I want to put it in high B tier or low A tier. I might go low A. I mean, it is pretty basic. As for the Darkness on the other hand, this is a really unique pet. It's like a spider, and there really isn't any walking tier 3 legendaries that I can think of at the top of my head. I literally can't think of one right now. Yeah, I literally got nothing, but A tier. Alright, now we got this Darkness Creature. I think for a tier 2, this is like really tiny. I mean, it's basically just a pet with some orange glowing eyes and some particles. I also think this was one of the first pets to get bugged out. Besides back in update 1 where we had like the Easter basket right here that was bugged, and some other stuff. I'm gonna put this in like high C tier. As for the Dark Phoenix on the other hand, that looks pretty cool. Really good step up from the bgsi version. So why not put that one into high B tier. Alright, I think this is called the Darkness Serpent. Do correct me if I'm wrong. But that's a nice blue color right there. I like all my blue pets. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put the Darkness Serpent here. We'll give it B tier. We need to fill a B tier. But yeah, look at the list so far. So far, we got a lot of pets. Just with a quick little look, I think we got like 100 down. So we're 1/7 of the way from this being done. But let's continue on with the Dawn right here. A season 2 pass pet. I think this is in the free side, but do correct me if I'm wrong, because it has been months. I'm gonna put it in A tier though, it's pretty cool. I think people kind of forgot about it though. What people haven't forgotten about was this deception right here. The only secret pet you could get from a mystery box. And though I haven't seen one yet, I bet it'd be pretty crazy to just open up a mystery box and then this thing here just jump scares you with the loud angelic sounds. And it looks really cool. I'm putting it in A tier. And again, we might go ahead and move some of these pets up to S tier at the end. But the deer on the other hand, there's no chance that's getting S tier. C tier is best for that. But now we got a big one. Well, actually 2 big ones. We have the Dementor, all the way back from the Easter event. And people still talk about this thing. So do I want to put this in A tier or S tier? Because it is a really cool pet. I think people are going to get really mad at me if I don't put it in S tier. To avoid that, I'm putting it in S tier. As for the top hat on the other hand, which is the second top hat we have gotten to today, basically the only thing they changed was this little stripe here on the top hat. Instead of red, it's now like this glowing cyan color. And I think this was only available for like a week or so. So that's why it is really valuable. You can get it the same way also, but I'm gonna put this here in A tier. Alright, now we have a lot of demonic pets. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the demon. I mean, what else is there to really say? It's just a demon. So I'm just going to put that in C tier. But now we got the demonic angel right here. Not to be confused with the angelic demon wherever I place that. That's in B tier. So we'll go ahead and place this demonic angel in B tier. Let's get a side-by-side look here. Despite them being added in different times of the game, still pretty cool pets. Alright, so now we got the Demonarium, which just came back with Shadow Egg, and I'm glad to see it come back. So, will we put this in B tier or A tier? I think I might go ahead and place that in B tier for the time being. It'll be a high B tier. But now we got the Demon Pup, I think that's what it's called. They probably renamed it the Demon Doggy or something. But for the Demon Pup, I think we might go ahead and place that in C tier. As for the Anglerfish right here, do I want to move that up into B tier? Alright, I'll place that at a low B tier. The amalgamation and everything else, you're just going to stay there and see. Alright, so now we have the Demonic Dog Cat. Now to get this pet, you had to blow 100 billion bubbles. And not gonna lie, this thing was super tiny. And people were like really disappointed. So just for size, I'm placing it in B tier, I'm sorry. But now we got the Demonic Hydra. Every time I thought I'd get an Overlord, disappears. I'm gonna place it in B tier despite my beef with it. As for the Demon Lord though, one of the few pets in this game that upgraded from a tier 3 legendary to a secret pet. Besides the Diamond Overlord, which is right here. Was that a tier 3 legendary pet? Let me know in the comments if that was. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and place the Demon Lord. I might give it B or A tier. I mean, I do like the wings on it. I'm gonna place it in A tier, I guess. But now we got the Demon Web to end off the Underworld egg. Well, for now. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that into like low A tier, because it is pretty cool. Alright though, now we got the Destiny. This is what they swapped out the Lucid Leaf in Season 4 for, and it does look pretty cool. I haven't seen it in any past Rumble Studios game, but I'm gonna give it A tier. Alright, now we have our diamond pets, our 4 diamond pets. And we started with the Diamond Hexarium, really old pet. Added all the way back when the 100 mil egg was a thing. I'm gonna place it with the other Hexarium, and I don't know if I want to move them up to A tier. I might go ahead and make a separate category for like pets I can't decide A or B for, and we'll place it right in the middle. I might do that. But now we have the Diamond Overlord, the other secret pet that was originally like a tier 3 legendary. I forgot from which Bubblegum Simulator 1 egg though. And the secret pet with the most existing, so it's literally nothing new. I'm putting it in B. The diamond ring though, I don't know why, but I just can't hatch a normal diamond ring. I hatched a mythic diamond ring and a shiny diamond ring, but no sign of a normal. I haven't gotten a normal secret in a long time. I'm gonna place the diamond ring in A tier though, I still like it. Anyways, so we now have the diamond serpent, another old pet. Also coming from out that 100 mil egg alongside the diamond hexarium. And we'll put them right next to each other, they're both in B tier. Alright, so now we have another legendary pet that used to be a secret pet. It's called the Dice Split. The mythic version of this thing used to be a secret in Mining Sim 2, but now this is just a legendary you can get in the chest rift. Nonetheless, out of all the splits, this is my favorite one. I'm gonna put it in A tier. But now we have the Dino, not the one that warns you, just a regular Dino. C. Alright, so now we have the Disco Ball. And the name just speaks for itself, it's literally just a disco ball. So I can't put it really any higher than C tier. And that's just me being nice. I could place it in D tier for disco, but C. Alright though, now we have the Discord Imp. I don't think you can get this anymore if I remember. But you basically have to join the Discord server to get that. I mean, as the name implies. And it's your average looking legendary pet. I'm gonna go ahead and place it in B tier. Now if only the bunny of Discord came back, I think that would have been a good throwback. Alright though, now we have the 2 disturbed pets. We have the disturbed unicorn right here. We have the disturbed dragon. By the looks of their faces, they don't really look disturbed, so I don't think they'd mind if I placed them in like high C. So high C for disturbed dragon and high C for disturbed unicorn. Alright, now we have ourselves the DIY robot. And it's definitely not a doggy gang. But yeah, I do like the cardboard texture on that, and it's a pretty creative legendary. Just because I like it and I have it, I'm putting it in A. Alright, now we have the dog cat. Pure classic in the BGS community. So I mean, why not place it in S tier? Yeah, I'm crazy like that. But now we have the doggy pile. More like small doggy pile. It's basically the doggy chopped out into little pieces. Moving on though, we have the doggy top hat, our 3rd top hat we're ranking. And it's pretty much a, well, doggy in a top hat. I can't really add anything, so we're gonna put it with the bunny top hat, wherever I place that. Alright, that's in B tier, we're putting that in B tier too. Alright, now we have the Dominus something. Again, I don't really remember all the pets' names, because there are a lot of new faces. But by the looks of it, this does look like an exclusive pet. I'm going to place the Dominus in A tier. And we'll go ahead and do the same for the Dominus Hydra, which I do think is a reference to Pet Simulator. There was a Hydra Dominus in that game and there's a Hydra Dominus here. Maybe it's just me who recognizes that, but A tier. Now we have Doof. It's a pretty silly looking pet, you know, but not as silly as another pet we'll get into really later on. High B tier. Alright though, now we have the Waddle. It's a pretty OG pet inside Bubblegum Simulator Infinity and pretty OG in Bubblegum Simulator 1. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place that into B tier with the Doof. As for the Waddle pile on the other hand, pretty much multiple Waddles. I guess it's good enough to get them A tier. Same for the Dominus too, which in fact is my favorite Dominus design, other than the Electra Hydra. But I'm gonna put the Dominus into A tier. But now we just have some basic pets like the dragon. Nothing else to really say on that pet, so you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and place that into C tier. But now we have the dragon fruit. I've heard a lot of stuff about this pet, and when I mean a lot, I mean a whole lot. And I mean, hopefully you guys aren't mad I'm just gonna put this in A tier. That's where I would put it, honestly. As for the dragon plushie though, I feel like this year is pretty forgotten. Could be because no one plays Robot Claw anymore, and everyone just plays Hyper Darts. Nonetheless though, I'm putting this one into A tier. I really like that. Anyways though, we now have this dragon split. Now I think this is new. I haven't seen this in BGS1. Maybe I did. Probably under a different name. But as you can see, we have half dragon, half kitty. It looks alright, so I'm gonna just place it in B. But now we have our fourth top hat, the dragon top hat. And without saying anything, B. Alright, now I think this pet here is called the Dreadful Dragon, I think. Looks pretty dreadful, and it's definitely way different than the other dragons we've seen already. I think it's a pretty unique design. I'm gonna put it in A. As for the Dreamcatcher though, not gonna lie, and hate me for this, but I feel like this pet has gotten a downgrade. Not only was it downgraded from a secret pet, but I mean they made it a lot more simplistic. So we're Dreamcatcher. I'm gonna place it in B. As for the Dreamscape though, one of my favorite exclusive pets, I'm gonna put this one into A tier. And speaking of that, we got the Dreamscape Influence, which is pretty much a Novoid. For tier 1 legendary though, it is really good. I'll give it A. Now for the Dual Corn though. Another pure classic from the throwback egg. In fact, most of the pets here are throwback, myself not included. Anyways, I'm gonna just place the Dual Corn in, we'll go A tier so you guys don't get mad at me. But speaking of that, we got the Duality. Not the Dog Cat version, a completely different one. I do like what they did with it though, you know, we got light and dark. It's from competitive season 4 and it was a pretty cool egg. So I'll give it A tier. And now we have two more federations. I know one of these is the Duke Federation, and I'll just call this one the Dill Pickle Federation. So the Duke Federation we're gonna put with the other federations, which is an A tier, and then the Dill Pickle Federation will go right there. But now we have Dusk, the other season pass pet from season 2. And wherever I put Dawn, we're gonna go ahead and put Dusk. Alright, that was an A tier. And I think this was on the premium side based on looks. But moving on to our E's, we got the Eagle from the Patriotic Egg. I'm just gonna put it in C tier, but we all like the Eagle. But now following that, we have the Earl Federation. I actually know the name of that. And wherever we put the other federations at, we're gonna place it right next to them. And not gonna lie, I might just go ahead and move up this Cinnamon Federation. We'll make the Cinnamon Federation the leader. And I'm just noticing their eyes are actually glowing. I don't know why, but I thought the tips of the eyes were actually the eyes. That's just me though, probably. Anyway, so we now have the Earth Champion, our second champion, and the one I actually hatched. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and place that in A tier. And then we have the first secret pet I hatched, called the Easter Basket. I think I got this before 1,000,000 eggs, but I don't remember. It's been so long. I'm gonna give it A tier though. But now we just have this little Easter egg. I mean, sure it has a nice design and stuff, but it's just an egg. I can't put it any higher than D tier. But now we have the Easter Fluffle. I think this was like the first pet ever to be like bugged, or the first one we all found to be bugged. The Easter egg hunt was really fun. I miss it, man. I'm giving it an A tier. But for the serpents, we have the Easter Serpent, and I think we should actually go ahead and do some organizing. So let's go ahead and start forming our little serpent clan right inside B tier. I don't think I ranked any other serpents. But now we have the Egg Bunny, or well, Eggy Bunny. I don't even know what this was called. Probably Easter Egg Bunny. But I do like how the egg just pushed the bunny's ears down. Nonetheless though, C tier does need some more pets inside it. I'm giving it C tier. But now we got the Electra. I like the Electra. It's my favorite Dominus. Yes, I know it's an old legendary pet. It's really basic, but come on. Also, I put this thing in here. Right behind it, we have the Electra Hydra, which also looks super cool. I think we should actually start grouping our Hydras. I mean, we do have Hydras in A tier and B tier. Yeah, the Kidney Winged Hydra is right here, so we'll start forming our Hydra clan right over here. Alright though, now we have the Elite Champion, all the way back from Series 1. This was way back when competitive seasons did not have secret pets. Until Series 3, but I'm gonna place this into A tier. And I'll go ahead and do the same with the Elite Soul. These are the only two Elite pets out of like the 9 or 10 or something. But these are the only two Elite pets that we got in BGSI. But now for our Emerald pets, we start off with the Emerald Bat. And I mean, I've already started placing bats in C tier, so I might as well do it again, you know? As for the Emerald Golem, on the other hand, probably your guys' first legendary, but not my first legendary. My first was the Ophinum. But no matter how you got this Emerald Golem, whether it was just from hatching it or just by liking the game, I'm gonna give it B. I'm putting it in B tier. But now we have the Emerald Wolf. I don't think this is Emerald, I think this is kind of like Jade. I might give it B tier though, not gonna lie. But now we're starting to get into some Season 1 egg pets. And as you can see here, we have the Enlightened Kitty. Where could I possibly place this? How about C tier? Yeah. Anyways, we got the Enraged Phoenix. Another one of those exclusive pets added really early on into the game, way before you can get like Mythic exclusives. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in A tier. Alright, now we have the Equalizer. And for a tier 3, I think this is really cool. And it's another one of my favorites, so I'm putting it in A. But now we got the Eternal Cucumber. I tried so hard to get this inside Mining Simulator 2 and failed, but I'm pretty glad to get it inside Bubblegum Simulator Infinity. Alright, so we're gonna put that into A tier. Continuing our Eternal family, we have the Eternal Heart, another one of my favorite secret pets, which I will also put in A tier. And to end off the Eternals, we have the Eternal Star, which again, I've hatched. So yeah, pretty much all the Eternal secrets came back except for the carrot. I think it's a little bit too late to add that now. But now we have the Eternity. Not only did I hatch a normal one, but I hatched the Mythic too. My first Mythic secret pet. Just for that, I'm going to put that at the top of A tier. We gotta start putting some stuff in S tier. Probably all the Mythics are just going to go in there. But now we have the Ethereal Bunny. And if you just look closely, a lot of design really went into this thing. Really good tier 2 legendary, just like the Bug Amber. We'll put it right next to it. And now we have, I don't even know what this is called. I'm just going to take a guess and say like Eversun. Alright, laugh at me for that, but I'm just going to go ahead and place it in A tier, because it does look pretty cool. And I mean, I could just go back and look at it. It's over at the bounties. It's still in the game. But speaking of Eversun, we have Everblaze. And Timmy's going to get real mad if I don't put it in S tier. I'm just going to put it in S tier so Timmy does not get mad at me. But now we have the Evil. And not gonna lie, compared to some of these pets here, not really too evil. Good effort, but B tier. Anyways, now we got the Evil Bee. I think this is a really good looking legendary pet, and I think I'll go ahead and place it with the BBB. I'm gonna put that in A tier. Look how full A tier is already. Look at all the pets we still have to rank. But let's continue on with the Evil Shock. Another pet you could get from like hatching, I would think. So if you hatch like 100,000 eggs, I think it was, you could get the Evil Shock. Pretty cool looking, and I think I'll give it A tier, because I do like all the shocks. But to end off our E's, we got the Excavator. For an exclusive pet, I really love this. It's super cute. I'm going to just put that in A tier. Alright though, now we have the Fallen Angel. The second closest thing we have in this game to a Leviathan, unfortunately. But I did hatch a few of these and I'm pretty proud of that. So why not put it in A tier, you know? And it's from the 500 mil egg. But now we have a really cool pet, the False Prophet, made by Rayquaza Nova. It basically combines the Null Void, wherever that is, right here, and the Prophet. And it turned out super cool. I really wanted to get this thing in Season 5. I missed out on it, unfortunately. I'm going to put it in A tier. But now we have here the Fancy Demon. And I think this came from out the game egg, before it disappeared. I think I'm just going to place it in C tier though. But the same cannot be said for our third champion. We have here the Fire Champion. Again, super cool looking. We'll go ahead and place it with the other two champions, inside A tier. Continuing our fire pets, we have this Fire Guardian. This comes from out the Series 2 egg. And despite it being insanely small, I think if this was larger, it might be a secret pet. I mean, if the Giant Pearl's a secret pet, so can Spitty. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and place this inside high A tier. And we might do the same for the Fire King here. It's been a long minute since we've seen this thing around. A tier. Alrighty though, now we have here the Flower Pot. Another walking legendary. How shocking is that? You don't see those every day. Nothing too crazy going on here, so I might put this inside B tier. As for this Flying Bunny right here, I think it's called, probably so. It's pretty basic. I'm just gonna put it in C tier. And I don't think anyone remembers the Flying Gem. I don't think anyone wants to buy the Flying Gem. Like, imagine buying gems so you could open up the mystery boxes. And I kind of feel bad for whoever did buy the gems. It's basically a gem with wings, but I'm going to give it low B. But then we have the Flying Piggy, another OG legendary pet. It's okay, I'm going to put it in B tier alongside the Flying Gem. I might move this down to C tier later on, not gonna lie. As for our Fossil Dragon right here, let's actually see that and the dragon. Alright, skeleton is pretty accurate. That's enough for it to get into B tier. But speaking of fossils, we got the Fossil Ghost, aka the second hardest legendary pet. We get to the hardest in a little bit, but it is pretty cool. I'm gonna put it in A tier. As for the Fossilist, on the other hand, it is pretty basic, but we'll get into the Mythic version later, which I do think is a lot cooler. For the meantime though, normal kit to be. Now we have the Fox. I mean, what else is there to really say? It's a fox. That's getting C tier. For the Fracturoid here, where I think this also had a bit of a downgrade, like the Dreamcatcher. I would definitely prefer the Mining Sim 2 version. That did have lots of detail. But yeah, I'm still gonna place it in A tier. But as for the Frost Defender on the other hand, I love this pet, man. That's immediately going into S tier. Who doesn't love the Frost Defender? Galactic Paldean 2. They cooked with that pet. Another S tier. Galaxium, not so much. I mean, it is still pretty cool, so I'm just gonna put it in A tier. Not good enough for it to get into S though. Galaxy dice, another really cool thing, but it's just a dice. I'm kind of debating on C or D though. We'll go D. D is feeling pretty lonely. Alright, so now we have this gamer doggy. Or well, game doggy, I think. Now despite them just changing the color of the doggy, we got a little bow tie and a top hat with a dice on it, but still it gets C tier. For this game master though, which I hardly got any mythics of, and I also still haven't added in the index, thankfully. I hope they never do, cause I'll look really bad cause I didn't get that jackpot. I'm gonna give it high B tier. Alright, now we have here the gamer boy. It's pretty much a fox with a cap. I suppose let's just put him in C tier too. But now we have ourselves this Squid Game looking thing, this guard Dominus. And since Squid Game was trending at the time, it makes sense this was an exclusive pet. So I'm gonna put it into A tier. Now for the giant chocolate chicken, another OG secret. I do not want to speak about that mythic. We're gonna put this into A tier. We're gonna put it with the Easter basket. So there we go. It was a really easy secret though. But now we have ourselves the giant family right here. And we start off with the giant DIY robot. Let's actually rank all the robots first. The giant DIY robot is basically a bootleg version of the actual robots we have here. It's still giant though. Props to whoever pieced this together. A tier. Now we have the giant pixel robot from Pet Catchers. I knew the giant robot was going to make a return eventually, but I didn't think the giant pixel robot would come back too. So I wonder if they're just going to bring back the robot 2.0. Oh wait. I'm going to put the giant pixel robot into A tier. And for our first infinity pet, which is the giant robot, I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't put it in S tier. We need some more S tier pets. As for the giant pearl on the other hand, where like I said, if this could be a secret pet, literally anything else could, I'm going to place it in C tier. I'm sorry gang. But now boys. We got gigantic Spitty. And I don't even have to say anything else about gigantic Spitty. I'm going to put this into S tier. Matter of fact, I think we can go higher than S tier. Because I love gigantic Spitty so much, I'm going to put it into double S tier. Bet the round bro can't do that. But let's move on with the Gleaming Tide. Now this comes from out the Season 6 pass. And it does look pretty cool. Let's put it in A tier. But now we have the Glitch. I think this is the first tier 4 legendary I've hatched a shiny mythic of. 1 in 8 billion is crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna put it in A tier. I could see it being a secret pet. Because like literally the giant pearl is. But now we have right here Glorb the Alien. Or well, just Alien we'll call it. From, you know, the Bra Invasion. The only new pet I got from out that update. I might put this in high C tier. As for the Glyph Warrior on the other hand, this is a really cool looking pet. And I'm really glad I got to hatch it. So yeah, I'll put it in A tier. Now we got the Godly Gem. Also coming out the throwback gag. And super cool looking. I think you guys would be really mad if I didn't put it in S tier. So we'll put it right next to the Dementor. That's technically next to each other. But moving on, we now have our golden pet. So we start off with the Golden Dragon right here. We'll also rank the Golden Golem next to it. And I forgot where both of these came from. I'm just going to put them both in C tier. As for the Golden Retriever, no, this was a bounty secret pet. And it was broken for a really long time. That's all I remember of that. So A tier. But now we just have ourselves a regular golem. Yep, that's really it, just a golem. Nothing too crazy going on there, so just C tier. And the Golem Bunny right here. Now this is really crazy. Basically all the pets inside the Season 5 egg were supposed to be competitors to the one and only Spitty, my favorite. And they all failed miserably. I'm still going to put this one in B tier though. But as for the Green Angel on the other hand, it's just your average epic pet. That's all I can really say about that. I'm just going to put it in C. But now up next we have the Green Hydra. The first pet I've ever hatched a shiny mythic of. And I thought I could have gotten a King Doggy for a second. Pretty crazy times. But I'm going to put that with the Demonic Hydra in B tier. Anyways, so we now have this Ground Golem. Coming out the Series 2 egg. Though it is pretty cool, it is a Golem reskin. And for the most part I can just put it in C tier. But for the Gryphon on the other hand, this is another one of these animated secret pets. And it looks awesome. I didn't mean to select the Guardian of Light. I'm going to put it though inside high A tier. We might move it up to S tier later. But speaking of the Guardian of Light right here, I hatched like 3 mythic before my first normal. Pretty crazy times. And those mythics were like minutes apart. And the mythics didn't even have models yet. But I'm still putting the Guardian of Light in A tier. But now we got ourselves the Gumdrop King. Pretty much the purple version of the King Slime. Mrs. King Slime. I might as well go ahead and rank both of them at once. So I think we might give them... I'm kind of debating on B or A tier. Let's go with A tier for the time being. That's just because they're secrets. But now we have the Gumdrop Dragon. This comes around the candy egg alongside this gummy shark and gummy worm, which we will rank together, and I do actually like the designs on these here. We'll put the gumdrop dragon in B tier, we'll put the gumdrop shark in B tier, and we'll put the gummy worm, or well, gumdrop whatever, in B tier. Alright, so let's now move on with the hacker prism. I don't know why I thought this, but I actually thought this was going to be a potion or an item for some reason. I said that a really long time ago. Time flies. But then we have right here the haunted spirit, and I don't even know where this is from. I think this was an exclusive, probably a new exclusive. I think I'm going to put it in B tier though. Alright though, for the heavy dice right here, not gonna lie, something feels off. Like the multiple eyes I can see, it kind of creeps me out. I'll still put it in B though. As for the hatchling, it's the closest thing we got to a duck in this game. And I mean, at least they did put some design effort into it. So I think I'll leave it at B tier. But now moving on with our heck pets, we start off with the heck bat. And I can pretty much say the same thing for these four right here. The heck crawler can go into C tier. This whatever that was called can go into C. This heck dragon can go into C tier, and so can the piggy. As for the fire and shard though, these are super cool looking pets. And I even hatched a mythic heck fire alongside a mythic demon lord. Those were 2 hours apart. I'm gonna give these 2 high A tier though. Alright though, now we have the hexarium. Yes, really OG pet, but I'm gonna put it with the other hexariums into B tier. For the hologram dragon, I gotta say this is a super cool design. I really do like what they did with this, so why not B tier? But now for the holy egg, we'll also rank the holy shock next to it, because I am gonna put them both in the same place, which is A tier. I believe the holy shock you could get from bubbling, and the evil one you could get from hatching. The egg you could actually get from an egg. But now we have here the honeycomb blast, which I think is another one of those exclusive pets. But I could see it being in the B rift egg. If anything though, I'd see it being like the tier 2 legendary. I'm going to put it in A tier though. But look at the list grow right here. Now what's crazy is we still have a lot of things to rank. We're going to be here literally all day. To end off our H's though, we have the hyperwave kitty. My first shiny secret. Also a little pet catcher's throwback to anyone who does remember. And I mean, technically this is an animated secret pet. There's like bars on the side that move up and down. Nonetheless though, I'm still going to put it in A tier. Alright though, now we have our ice pets. We're just going to start by ranking all the icy common pets. And we'll start off with the icy bear. It's not blue so it doesn't fit in, so C tier. We'll also put the icy deer into C tier. The icy dragon as well can go into C tier. The icy wolf, C tier. And finally the icy kitty, also C tier. As for the ice winged hydra on the other hand, glad to see that make a return. Not glad to have hatched the shiny mythic with secret elixirs on. Also put it in A tier, wherever I put the other hydras at, all the way up here. By now we have here the Immortal 1, going back to the Light and Dark event, and I think this was like the rarest secret pet for a while. I don't think there was any other one in 2 billions. So I'm going to put it in A tier or S tier, because S tier is kind of empty. We need some more S tiers, not gonna lie. But now we have here the Infernus. Now I think this is one of those pets that was absolutely forgotten. I haven't seen anyone talk about this thing yet. But to those who do not remember, you could get this from out the chest on the ancient island in the beach festival. It was extremely hard to do, so it's extremely valuable. Let's go ahead and move on with the Infernal Cube right here. Another OG legendary, and also Grip Magenta Cube. It didn't make it. It won't stop me from putting this thing in B tier though, and that's just me being nice. But now we have the Infernal Dragon, not to be confused with the Infernal Demon. Oh wait, I just did it. Alright, Infernal Demon I'm putting in C tier. But as for the Infernal Dragon, since it's a legendary, I'm putting it in B tier. It gets that special legendary treatment. Alright, now we have the Infernus right here actually. So then I forgot what this was called then. I think this was probably just called Infernal. But this is another one of those exclusive Dominuses, and it does look pretty cool, so we're just going to put that in A tier. And now we have arrived at the rarest legendary pet in the game. And since secret pets have gotten a whole lot easier, the Queen Bee being an example, this is now as rare as a whole secret pet. 1 in 20 million for a single legendary pet. And the only legendary pet I haven't hatched in a game that doesn't come from a rift. Hopefully they don't add this in the index because it would make me look really bad. I'm just gonna put it in A tier. But now next we have the Jawbreaker Elemental. Now though it is a simple idea, I do think it is pretty cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slide that into A tier. Have we ranked any elementals yet? That might have just been our first. But now moving on with our J's, we have the Jellyfish. Another OG pet, but another really simplistic design. The best I can do is put that in B tier. As for the Jelly Overlord on the other hand, I got pretty lucky with this, not gonna lie. I hatched like 2 of these in the span of 10 minutes. And this thing really isn't worth anything because it was in the game for a week longer than it was supposed to. I'm still gonna go ahead and place that into A tier. But also coming throughout the season 1 egg, we have the Judgment. At first time, it is a good looking epic pet. So I'm putting it in really low B, high C though. But then we have our kings. We're gonna go ahead and start with the King Doggy, the first secret pet to have a shiny mythic hatched. I remember the Discord server blowing up because of that. It was pretty crazy. I'm gonna put it in A tier though. I might move it down to B tier, but A tier seems good for now. The King Kitty though, it's just pretty much the same thing, just add it way later on. Another A tier. Now for the King Mush, the first secret pet to be under 1 at 50 million. People were going crazy for this thing. I think it even revived the game a little bit. I tried hatching it when it was in the spike egg. Unfortunately, I did fail, but I did get the Fallen Angel that day, wherever I put that. But I'm still putting that in A tier. But continuing on, we have the King Pufferfish, the only hatchable legendary king, all the way back when competitive was a new thing. I'm gonna put it with the rest of the kings in A tier. Now we have the King Seahorse, which I thought was actually gonna be a fish. My bet was way off because it was an exclusive pet. I'm still gonna put it in A tier though, I guess. Anyways, now we have the King Soul, the pet you can get for hatching 2 million eggs. So let's put that in A tier too. Anyways, now we have the Kitsune, one of the only legendary pets you just can't get. Same with the Vaporeon, wherever that is. I might just end up trading for this thing, and I'll give it B. But now we just have the Kitty. Nothing more to it, just a kitty. We'll get into a better one later on, but for now we'll put it next to the Doggy, the dynamic duo. And now we have that, but in a top hat. And just like we've been doing with all of our top hats, we're going to place them together into B tier. I think we have 2 more after this. Let me check. Yep, we have the Rainbow Shock top hat, and I swear there was another one. Maybe I forgot. But now next we have the Kiwi Dragon, which is the legendary from the beach festival, Good Times. I'm gonna put it in B tier though for now. But the koi on the other hand, I got to see this and this was super cool. Like really cool. That deserves S tier. Kraken on the other hand, I mean, if this wasn't coming back in the beach festival, I think literally everyone would start an uprising. I'm gonna give it A tier though. But now we have another federation I don't know the name of, so I think I'll just call it Lavender Federation. And with that, I'll put it in A. But now we have a pretty cool looking pet. This one is called the Lamp Ghost. And I think this is the coolest looking legendary we have, so I think I might put this in A tier. It's a really cool exclusive pet. But now we have some of these lava pets right here. The Lava Bat, Lava Golem, and Lava Demon, or something. And I think we'll just go ahead and put those all into C tier, because they're just some basic redesigns. So C tier for those two, and C tier for the Lava Demon. For the Lemon Dragon on the other hand, despite it not being a legendary, I do think it is pretty cool. One of the better redesigns. Is it enough to get it into B tier though? I think so. But then we have a secret pet called the Liberty, also from the July 4th event, and instead of hatching this, I hatched a Mythic Star-Lord. I'm still putting it in A tier though. But now we have the Light Cube, basically a light version of the Inferno Cube we ranked earlier, and we'll put it right next to it inside of B tier. But up next we have the Light Doggy and Light Kitty. Though they're both from the same egg, they have a really different design. But I think I'm just going to put them in C tier nonetheless. As for the Light Lord on the other hand, which is still inside Milestones, we'll put that wherever we put the Dark Lord. And it looks like we went ahead and put that in A tier, so I guess we'll just do the same. Also, the Light Lord is a lot larger than the Dark Lord, because it was added later on into the game. And so we now have this Light Orb, and I mean, I can't really say anything else, it's just a ball with a star and stuff, but that's it. D. Alright, now we have the Long Kitty. It's another one of those silly looking pets from pet catchers, but instead of it being exclusive, you get hatch it for the low price of time. So A tier. Don't know why I did it, just going B I guess. But now we have the Lord Federation. I actually knew the name of that one. How surprising. We're just gonna go ahead and put that with the other federations. Those are all into A tier. So with that, I think that's all the federations. Let's just quickly double check to see if there's any more. I don't really see them. Alright, I think that's it. But now we got the Lord Shock right here. I'm pretty sure you all were excited to see this come back, but not excited to see this was 1.5 billion. Nonetheless though, still really good times, so I'm putting it into A tier. But now we have our lovely Lotus. Despite it being a permanent legendary, I think this is really cool. And I hatched this shiny Mythic really early on. I'm still going to put it in A tier. Alright though, now for the lovely Rose. I got a lot of these in the Season 4 Infinite Pass. Come to think of it, here's the Lucid Leaf for you guys here. But yeah, I'm gonna put the lovely Rose in high B tier. I mean, Okay, low A tier. I mean, it's only fair because we did put the lovely lotus in there. And for the elusive leaf, we'll give it high A tier. But then we have the luminosity. This looks so amazing. I got my luminosity really early on into the game, and I still really miss it. S tier is a bit empty right now. Why not add some more pets? But now here, I think we have the lunar rose. I don't even know what that's called. All I know is that it was probably an exclusive pet because I haven't hatched it. Nonetheless, I do think that's pretty cool. Really nice flower. And I think my favorite out of the three right here. But now for the basic looking lunar corn. Sure, it's all spacey and stuff, but it's just basic. It's spacey and basic. But now here we have the lunar deity from the season 1 pass. Another throwback. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and put that into A tier. Now we have, I think this is called the lunar wolf. I forgot where it's from. But yeah, it is also basic, so I'm putting that in C tier too. As for the lunar serpent though, we're just gonna go ahead and put that with the other serpents. And those are in B tier. And now we have this cool looking thing. I don't know the name of it, but it was added within this new update. And it does kind of remind me of the dice split. It does look pretty cool. So I'm going to put this mysterious looking pet in A tier. Now for our magma pets. So we got the magma bear, magma deer, magma doggy, and finally magma fox. We'll rank the magma cube later. But yeah, I'm just going to throw these 4 in C. So there they all go. Once again, they're basic. As for the magma cube on the hand, coming from pet catchers, pretty much the emerald golem equivalent to whoever hatches their prismatic eggs, I'll put that in B tier. And now we have here the magmas. Now this is a really cool pet, but unfortunately no one placed a Cartwright minigame. I'm still gonna put it in A tier though. Let me know if we got that in the comments below, by the way. Alright though, now we have some aura egg pets, and we have the Minarium. Now back in the day, aura messages wouldn't even show up in chat. So if you found one of these eggs before update 1, you were insanely lucky. But yeah, I'm gonna put that into A tier. And I might as well do the same with the Man-Faced God. Another one of the 4 OG secret pets. A tier. Now let's continue on with the Mangorium. This pet is so 6'7", bro. I'm gonna give it a high A tier. Also, I liked the mangoes before it was cool. But going back to the aura egg, we have the Manicorn and, well, Manny. There's just something wrong with these pets. I'm gonna give them B tier, I guess. But as for the Mariposa right here, that does look pretty good. Let's give that S tier. I like that. But the Marshmallow, despite it being, you know, sweet and a legendary, I can't put it any higher than C. But as for the Martian Kitty on the other hand, I mean, I might just put that in C tier too. Also, do you guys see the Toy Story reference? But now we have the Mech Robot. Now when I saw this get added into the game, I thought the giant robot wasn't gonna make it. But lo and behold, it did in fact make it to the game. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the Mech Robot into A tier. Alright, next up we have this Midas right here. It's a really old pet. It comes from the golden box. That was like a full 18.5 updates ago. Pretty old pet. It gets A tier though. And now we have the other 2 mining pets. So we have the mining doggy and we have this mining bat. And they're basically pretty much the same thing. They each got a hard hat and proper equipment. I suppose I would land them B tier, but I'm gonna go with a low B tier. But we finally have another Sunday champion. We got the Mint Sunday champion. The only Sunday champion I unfortunately did not hatch. But where do we put that chocolate one at? Right here, okay. That will go into A tier. But speaking of mint, we have the Minty Serpent. And just like the other serpents, we're gonna place this into B tier. But up next we have the Missing Object. If the pet had its textures, I wonder what it would look like. But yeah, competitive season 4, I actually got this pet. My team did really good. We placed like 240th place. But I'm gonna put the Missing Object into A tier. And then we have me. My bad, I mean Monkey. I mean, there's not really much else to add to that. I mean, this is the first time we have gotten this pet inside Bubblegum Simulator. But I'm just gonna put myself in C tier. But now anyways, we have the Monolith. The second secret pet I've gotten from a season pass. It is pretty cool. Would I put it in S tier like I did with the Luminosity? I don't think so. I'd probably put it in like high A tier for now. Who knows, it might become S tier at the end. Continuing on though, we have this Moonburst. And I just have a lot of these things. Not really much else to add to that. I mean, it is pretty cool and it can fly. So I suppose maybe B tier? As for the Moon Deer right here though, which I actually hatched a couple videos ago, to finish off the season 2 egg, not bad. We'll go ahead and place this into B tier. We'll place it next to the Moonburst. But now right here we have, I think it's called the Moonlight. And I think this was in the season 2 Infinite track, alongside the Luminosity. Another cool moon pet, we'll put it in B tier. But now we have this Moonlight Gaze. A bounty secret you can hatch right now. It's super cool looking, so I'm gonna go ahead and place that into A tier. And then we just have a simple looking mouse. And I mean, there's really not much I can say about that. It's just a mouse, so I'm putting it in C tier. But now up next we have, I already forgot the name of this thing, but it's ice cream. We have chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream, and strawberry ice cream. I'm gonna call it the ice cream stack, Napoleon stack I think it was called. It gets B tier. But now we have the Nebula right here. Another really cool season egg pet. And we'll put it right next to the Glyph Warrior in A tier. The first one I also hatched, by the way. But now up next we have this neon doggy. As you can see, it is really nice looking. Pretty futuristic, but it still gets C tier. Neon Elemental. Another pure classic, but unfortunately not many elementals made it into bgsi. I don't even know where I put the first one. I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say it was down here in B tier somewhere. Probably is, but we ranked so much stuff I can't even see it. Continuing our neon trend though, we have this neon wire eye. And it's very wiry. I guess that's enough to get it into low A tier. As for the neon wyvern on the other hand, great looking wings, but I'm putting it in B tier. Now we have this cool looking thing right here. I already forgot the name of it, but it was introduced this update. People were really mad that you had to pay for the secret pet. And I mean, with how cool this thing looks, I'd be upset too, not gonna lie. I'll give it high A tier. Again, we might move some of these pets up to S tier at the end. Alright though, now we have the Nightcrawler. Definitely didn't inspire a certain pet. It's still just a spider though. They should have just renamed it Spider. So C tier. But now we have this Night Dweller, which came from out the lava egg, which looks really identical to the magma egg. I suppose it is cool enough for me to put it into a low A tier spot. Sure, why not? Alright, now we have this, I think it's called the Noctic. It's another one of those exclusive Dominus pets, but it does look super cool, don't get me wrong. I really like what they did with this. Another one of my favorite exclusives, so let's go ahead and place that in A tier. Let's just go ahead and put all of our Dominuses together, whatever ones I could find. There is a lot. But now we have the Novoid, and man, it was sure a struggle getting this thing. On release, this was the rarest legendary, and it didn't even come from out the most expensive egg. I mean, no one noticed I put it in A tier though, right? But for the octopus on the other hand, I'm gonna have to put that in C tier. It's just basic. I can't put it any higher than that. But now we have the Ophinum right here, my first legendary pet. Kind of an odd choice for a first legendary, not gonna lie. But I did get pretty lucky, and I think it's cool enough for it to go into A tier. More of a low A tier though. But anyways, we have this orange deer now. And once again, it's just another basic design, so I can't put it any higher than C tier. As for the Ore Golem on the other hand, yeah, it's just gonna have to go into C tier once again. Can't place it any higher. But as for the Overlord plushie right here, it is a secret pet. It looks pretty cool. I'll give it A tier. Now we got the Overseer. This used to be the hardest legendary you could get from out of inventory egg until the Captain Curse came along. It was 1 in 100,000. But I'm gonna go ahead and place it into A tier. But now we have the Overlord. You know, it's basically appeared in every single Rumble Studios game. And a certain egg would be pretty mad if I didn't give it S tier. So there we go, Overlord's in S tier. Panda, more like basic. And no one hatches a spotted egg anymore. So C. Now we have our paper pets. The Paper Bunny and the Paper Doggy. There are some pretty cool designs, especially for the Easter event, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and put those into C tier. C tier is kind of filling up though. Anyways, we now have this Paragon. It's just a, you know, generic looking legendary pet. I'm gonna put it no higher than low B tier. As for the Parasite on the other hand, I thought this looked pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this into A tier. Why not? But now we got the Parasol Paldane. I've seen images of this looks so cool. If I didn't get the Mythic Eternity, I would really like to get this. I'm gonna have to put that in S tier. Alright though, now we have the Patriotic Doggy. I don't think much has changed the last time we seen this thing. I mean, in the original BGS, I don't think it had the hat, but C tier. As for the Patriotic Penguin though, I'll put that legendary into B tier, because it is still pretty basic. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and rank the actual penguin, C. But now next we have the Patriotic Robot, and this thing here is really cool. Do I want to put it in S tier or a high A tier? Because like it can change colors and stuff. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and place this into low S tier. Hopefully you guys aren't mad at that. Now we have here the Patriotic Shock. Another pretty cool addition to the Shock family. And now we just have to find where I put all of those. Ah, here they are. They're all in A tier. And just like they did the Elementals, they reduced the number of Shocks in this game too. But now we have the Patriotic Heart, which is still, you know, an exclusive legendary pet. I think this was an exclusive legendary back in Mining Sim 2, or is that something else? Nonetheless, I'm gonna put that in A tier. But now here we have the Patronus. And I just think this tier is super cool. High A tier for the time being. As for the Pearl Goddess though, I believe this is another one of those downgraded secret pets that just found its way into the exclusive shop. Alright though, we're gonna go ahead and put the Pearl Goddess in A tier. But I don't just have a simple looking piggy. That's really all there is to it. So C tier. Pineapple Tourist. Getting the shiny version of this was really a hassle. Like, I wasn't getting any of these things. But I got it, barely. I'm gonna give it A tier though. Now we have the Pirate Kitty. And I mean, not gonna lie, they didn't do much but give him a hat and an eye patch. So C. As for the Pixel Hydra on the other hand, this looks really cool. I definitely like the pixel design. So A. Alright though, now we have the Plasma Wolf Lord, which is the only hatchable pet they've added within this update. And just based off the icon, I really like this. I actually hope I hatch this. Like, that looks sick. S tier. Platinum Dual Corn on the other hand, pretty basic. I'm just gonna have to put that into B tier. The Polar Bear is also pretty basic, and so that's getting C tier. Alright though, now we have here the Pond Queen. I believe this was a secret pet back in Pet Catchers, but something's telling me it isn't. I'm just gonna say it was, and it was downgraded to another legendary. But I like the Pond Queen nonetheless, so it gets A tier. But anyways, you now have the Popsicle Trio. And even though this was not a secret inside Pet Catchers, there were in fact some popsicle secrets in that game. I'm still gonna put this one in B tier though, it is kind of basic. Anyway, so up next we have this Prisma. Not to be confused with the Prismatic. I've hatched like 150,000 duality eggs, and unfortunately I haven't seen this pet. Kinda unfortunate, but I'm gonna put it in A tier. As for the Prismatic though, it is a really nice looking legendary. You know, especially for just a tier 1. I do like the design it gives, so I'm gonna have to put that in A tier too. Alright though, now up next we have the Prophet. Some people really like this pet, some people really hate this pet. Personally, I think the pet's pretty cool, so I'm putting that into A tier. And to end off the P's, we have the Pyramidium, which was added inside of the Bride Invasion update. Unfortunately, I could not get it. I wasn't playing that time anyway. But nonetheless, Pyramidium is still pretty cool, so I'm putting that into A tier. But now we have the easiest secret pet in the game, the Queen Bee. And I'm glad I've hatched a lot of these things. It was a pretty fun time, and it did in fact revive the game. And it was also really big, so A tier. But now we also have the Queen Kitty, which was in fact one of the first bounty secrets. Yeah, just like I did with the Prophet, I'm gonna put it in A tier. As for the Queen of Hearts on the other hand, yeah, I can't put a rare pet into A tier. I'll go C. But now here we have the first of the 2 crystal dragons, the Radiant Crystal Dragon. Come to think of it, let's go ahead and find the second one. It's right here. Alright, so we have the Void Crystal Dragon and Radiant Crystal Dragon. There's some pretty unique secret pets. And the Void Crystal Dragon here was how I got the Ultimate Collector title and Deja Vu. So I'm going to put the Void Crystal Dragon in A tier. And I'm also going to put the Radiant Crystal Dragon in, well, of course, A tier. I mean, they're pretty much the exact same thing. But now next we have this Radiant Elemental. And based off the looks, I think this is what inspired the Jawbreaker Elemental with the multicolored center. Personally, this is the coolest elemental out of them all. Let's put it right next to the Jawbreaker one in A tier. But now next we have the Rainbow Blitz, which was another one of those quest pets. Literally no one remembers those things. But I thought this here was really cool. For its time, of course. I'm still going to go ahead and put it in A tier. But now we have the Rainbow Marshmallow. Personally, I think this pet was super cool, but the Mythic which we are going to get to in a second looks even cooler. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead for now and put the Rainbow Marshmallow in A tier. But up next we have here the Rainbow Shock and the Rainbow Shock Top Hat. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the Shock right next to the Hexarium inside B tier, and the Top Hat can just go with the other Top Hats. So yeah, I believe that's all 5 of them. There was a lot more in Pet Catchers, by the way. But up next we have the Red Golem, which is another basic pet. All of our common pets go into C tier, but except for a select few. Like, you know, the researcher doggy. I appreciate the enthusiasm to go explore, but I'm putting that in C. And now we have a Rigby. I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten a Blue Jay pet yet. I'm going to give Rigby B tier though. I'm only doing that though just because it's Rigby. And it's not even the right one. But now we have the Ringmaster. Another forgotten legendary pet and a forgotten egg. I actually have to get the mythic of this because I don't have it yet. So I'm putting it in A tier. But now next we have the Robo Kitty. Nice redesign nonetheless, but it still gets C tier. As for the Rock Kidney Golem right here, I mean, like, it's okay. It's a pretty basic legendary pet, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier. But guys, just take a guess on where I'm gonna place my beautiful round kitty and my round Spitty. Just take a guess. Take a wild guess. Yeah, double S. And round Spitty is basically the two of them combined, so double S. No one's messing with my Gangaroonies when they're in double S tier. But now we have this royal fishbowl from pet catchers, which unlike most pet catchers' secret pets, stayed a secret. And there are some others coming on later up, but fishbowl gets A. But now we have the royal guardian. And just like the ringmaster, I believe like everyone forgot about this. I can't even remember the last time one of these were hatched. It's probably been months. But yeah, I'm gonna place the loyal guard in A tier, for now. Up next we have the royal trophy. Yet another secret pet added way early on into the game. I remember my friend hatching like, I think the first one. Really crazy moment, so A tier. But now we have the ruby golem. And you know, once again it's very basic. It's basically a cherry golem without the glow. But now we have some of these runic pets right here. Like, I forgot what this is called, but I know the first word is runic. Now despite it not being a legendary pet, I do like it. We're gonna put that in B tier. As for this runic block thingy, I mean it's alright. I'm gonna have to put it into high C tier though. But now to end it off we have this runic prism, which was basically the pyramidium until the pyramidium came along. This runic guardian, these two right here were from the season 3 pass. And then this runic defender from the season 3 egg. I'm gonna place these two season pass pets into A tier, so that's one, and that's the other. And as for this one, you know, why not? I mean, the Glyph Warrior is in A tier, so I might as well put this in A tier. It's more of a low A tier for me though, like the Ophanim. But now to start off with the S's, we have the sailboat. These little fellas really thought the One Piece existed. I'll still give them an A tier for effort. But now we have the Sea Champion, the first or one of the first animated secret pets. And just like in pet catchers, you had to earn this thing from catching fish. Nothing ever changes. A tier. Alright, now we got the seagull. And yeah, it's just basic. I'm gonna give it C tier. But now next we got the sea serpent, which I think was another secret pet from pet catchers that was downgraded to a legendary. And also I do remember there's like a limited stock on this thing. But I think I'm just gonna place this into A tier. Alright though, up next we got the sea star. And I mean, what else is there to really say? It's just a sea star. So, I mean, I did place the giant pearl in B tier. Wait, actually no, that's C tier. I can't even think shrink after ranking all this stuff. I'll give it low B tier. Just because I think this is cooler than the pearl. Sea turtle though, that's pretty cool. I'll give it low A tier. And for the sea urchin right here, which is basically the virus until we get to that, it is pretty much the same thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that into B tier. But now next we have the security system, and not gonna lie, I think this is slept on. I think it's pretty cool. I'll give it A tier. Alright though, now we have the Seraph. I remember when bgsi came out, I confused this pet with the Avernus. Like I said, the Avernus came from the season 1 egg, and I was completely wrong about that. But then again, I was actually right about secrets being in season eggs, 5 seasons later. But now next we have the Seraph Bruh. I think this year was the 1 in 1 million pet from the Bruh Rift. And I mean, it's basically like the man-face god. So I don't know why this doesn't have like a lot of value. Maybe I don't pay attention to values. And maybe it does have a lot of value, but I'm gonna put it in A tier. Anyway, so we now have this Seraph Bunny, or basically a split. Just name something else, but I'm gonna still give it, don't wanna go with B or A tier. A tier looks pretty full. I'll give it a high B tier. But now let's go ahead and continue with the Serene Axolotl. And I mean, just look at this thing. Look at its adorable face. I have to put it in A tier. And now we also have the Serene Tide, which I think looks pretty cool. And just like we did with the Gleaming Tide, wherever in A tier I put that, we'll put it right beside it. They are pretty cool pets. But I think these two pets right here kinda hinted towards the Dreamer Island. Not gonna lie, they fit right in. But continuing on, we now have the Shadow Hunter. It's pretty much the dark version of the Kitsune, which I think is pretty cool. And for a tier 1 legendary, I'm gonna put it in A tier. And now my friends, we have the Shadow, also known as the Leviathan's brother. Now as Levi hater I am, I could just go ahead and throw that into F tier, but I'm not gonna do that this time. And I'm not gonna throw it into S tier like I did last time. In fact, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna give it A tier, and then I'm gonna move it up into S tier when you guys least expect it. But there's probably like an hour left to the video, so you guys probably won't notice. But moving on, we now got the Shard. Well, the first of 2 shards. Well, actually 3 shards if you count the Soul of Plants, which we will get to in a second. But nonetheless, there's some pretty cool pets. The Shard here is basically the OG version of the Plasma Wolf Lord. it was added late into an egg, so okay, why not? We'll give it S tier. As for the shimmering shard, on the other hand, it's pretty cool but tiny compared to a pet we're gonna rank later on. I'll still go ahead and put it in A tier, and we'll just quickly get the shark out the way, C tier. Now compared to the sharks that are actually inside the game, this one's really friendly. You traders will know what I mean. But now let's rank the Shinigami. Really cool name, really cool secret pet. This pet even had more value just because it was cooler than the shimmering shard. Despite the fact it was basically the same thing, the demand for this thing was pretty high. And Mythic is even cooler, which we will get to in a second. I'm going to give it A tier. But yeah, we're almost done with these normal pets here. We just have 7 more normal rows left, and then from there we just have mythics, and some of these other pets I forgot to add, but that's besides the point. We have the Sigma Serpent up next, and if you can't tell, this is also from that aura egg, and I'll put it in front of the other serpents which are in B tier, because not gonna lie, Sigma kinda died out. As for the silly doggy though, despite the fact it's the rarest pet in the silly egg, I'm sorry, it's just not beating Round Kitty. I'll still give it A tier because it is silly, and I think the mythic is cool. But the same cannot be said for the silver wolf. I mean, I wouldn't even call it a silver wolf, it's just a regular snow wolf. An Arctic fox, C tier. But now up next we have Sir Doggyton, aka the pet with the tallest hat in the entire game. Great to see it return as an NPC and a pet. I'll give it high B tier. But now up next we have the skeletal deer, which is pretty much the same thing as the fossil dragon, but this was added way earlier on. I think this was added in Beach Part 2, and this was released. At this point I don't even know, but what I do know is that we have another champion. We have the Sky Champion, and well, that's the last champion we have to rank. For now, of course. But just like we've been doing with our other champions, we'll place them in A tier. Personally, Sky Champion is my favorite just because it's blue. But up next we have the Sleepy Bunny. And I mean, the name just speaks for itself. I do like the sleeping face they gave it though. Come to think of it, you know what would be pretty cool? And I mean, nothing too crazy, but bring back pet sleeping animations. I think I'll give it low B. But up next we have the Sleeper Doggy. And that is not sleeping, my friend. That is wide awake. For misinformation, that gets C. And same for whatever this was called. I think it was also sleepy, but it's not sleeping. Misinfo. Up next, so we have the Soarin' Surfer. And why is this thing yelling at me? Anyways, I'm gonna give it A tier. Continuing on though, we have the Solar Deity. Another OG pet and still pretty cool to this day. So wherever I put that lunar serpent at, right here, that gets A tier. Alright though, now we have this Soul Jam, which actually has a mythic version of itself, all the way down here. I don't know how you get that. Let me know in the comments below, how exactly do you get that? But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put the Soul Jam into A tier. The pet was actually quote unquote leaked before World 3 came out, but it was a fan-made decal. I think Nerd just said it was fan-made, so you wouldn't expect it coming. So you know, W Nerd for the surprise. But now we have our next shard, the Soul of Plant. Technically not a shard, but I'm going to still count it as one. And I really like the design on it. I'll give it A tier. And then we have our three space pets. We have our Space Mouse, Space Bull, and Space Invader, which I really think the mythic version should have been Round Kitty. Anyways though, these are just some more basic pets. And the Lunar Corner is already down here in C tier. So the Space Mouse and Space Bull can go ahead and join it. As for my little Space Invader buddy here, I think it's pretty cool. But why did it take me so long to get the mythic? A tier. But up next we have Sparkler Man. And I definitely see the meme potential in this pet, but the thing actually blocking it is a sparkly lemonade. I'll still give this Sparkler Man a B tier, because it is a nice funny meme pet. And for the sparkly lemonade, which looks super cool and very refreshing, I'll give it A tier. And now, Spitty. Spitty is left, double S tier. No questions asked. Anyways though, we now have the split, the OG split. And by OG, the doggy and the bunny is actually the original version. I'm still giving it B tier. I think that's where I put the other split, but I can't find it. Here it is. But up next though, we have the Stained Star. I personally think this is super cool, and it has the potential to be a C-Star 2.0. I'm gonna give it A tier. Moving on though, we have the Star Charm. And as someone who macros hyper darts a lot, I've gotten a lot of these things already, but I'm gonna give it A tier. But now here I think this is called the Stargazer, and I believe this is from the Series 1 egg, and it's still pretty cool. So like I've been doing with all the other Series 1 pets, like the Parasite and Overseer, we'll put them right there in A tier. Moving on though, we now have this Star Lord. I personally think it's pretty cool, nice chill pet. I can't really say much about it, I'll give it A tier. But now we have the Starry Kitsune, and I don't recall seeing this pet anywhere. I do think it's an exclusive pet, so that's probably why I don't remember it, but I'll still give it A tier, I suppose. Alright, though, we now have less than 60 normal pets left to rank, until we get into our mythics. So we've already ranked 500 pets. But now we got the Starry Lamb. It's an okay epic pet, and I'll give it B tier like I did with the Sleepy Bunny. But now we have this other starry pet. I don't remember the name of this thing, and I'm not going to go look for it. I mean, it's okay looking, but I'm gonna give it low or high C tier. Low B. We do need some more pets in B tier, not gonna lie. As for the Stick Bug right here, I remember this being my equivalent to Spitty back in Mining Sim 2. Good times. It's still getting C tier though, cause it fell off. Next up, though, we have the Stone Gargoyle. And for tier 2, it looks really nice. I do like the design they went for on this thing, so I'll give it A tier. But now for the Strawberry Doggy. It does look pretty tasty, and I mean, I did put the Lemon Dragon wherever that was. Here it is. I put that in B tier, so I might as well put this in B tier too. So I mean, it's only fair. As for the Strawberry Snow Cone though, we can go ahead and immediately put that into A tier with the other snow cones. So now our snow cone family is complete. With the Strawberry Snow Cone, we got this nice little bow, and there is obviously a strawberry. But continuing on with our Sunday champions, we have the Strawberry Sunday Champion, which I'm going to go ahead and place into A tier. Wherever those other Sunday champions are, here they are. This was the first Sunday I've hatched, and that's what got me Keeper's Secrets. But now we have the Straw Hat Dragon. And you don't have to be a genius to know what this is a reference of. And the shiny version is a Gear 5 reference. And I find it ironic how this was in the pirate egg. Just for that, I'm giving it B. But now we have the Sunburst. And I remember hatching a mythic version of this completely on accident. Like, I opened up like 10 mystery boxes and I just randomly got it. Pretty crazy times, but I'm gonna place it in high B tier. Matter of fact, let's actually go ahead and move both of them up to A. That might be pretty crazy of me, but I mean, they're still pretty cool. But coming back to Sundays, we have the Sunday Cone. Not Sunday Champion, but Sunday Cone. And before the Fossil Ghost came around, this was the second hardest legendary pet. And I think it looks pretty cool. I'm still going to give it A tier. But now here you have the Sunday Doggy. Alright though, I'm going to place this here in B. Because like, what's it doing in a bowl? Did someone actually think they could eat the face of bgsi? But up next though, we have the Super Beach Boy. And I gotta say, my boy got an upgrade. It's kinda sad how the boy army just completely disappeared in this game. I'm placing this though in A tier. Anyways, we now have the Super Hexarium, aka the Mythic Hexarium. Just purple. It's pretty nice to see this make a return, so not gonna lie, I'll put it in A tier. The normal Hexarium right here basically looks like a Super Hexarium on PS2 graphics. But now next we have the Super Pufferfish. And I don't know what was in that carrot, but something made the pufferfish go Super Saiyan. A tier. Speaking of super, we have the Super Trophy next. I think this was the first secret I've hatched 3 of. On the same day, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm putting the Super Trophy in A tier. But for the Surreal Secret right here, this is super cool. And the Mythic, which we will get to later, is insanely large. And just for that, I'm giving it S tier. But to end off the S's, we have ourselves a sweet treat. Basically, it looks like one of those fancy chocolates, not gonna lie. I think it's pretty cool, so I'll give it low A tier. But up next we have the Elder, which I almost missed out on because of that blazing pufferfish. Like, that was actually a hassle. And it's crazy hard. But it was in fact worth it. And the fact it was animated too makes it even better. So I might give that S tier. But now we have the Moon. Now I know what you're thinking. It's just a ball. Put it in D. No. And I won't put it in C either. Because unlike the Giant Pearl, it actually has texture and bumps, so I think B tier is best. Continuing on with these, we have the Overlord, the very first secret pet in the game. I'm actually quite curious on who hatched the first one, but we may never know. I'm still putting it in B though. As for the Shock Lord on the other hand, which I think is a way better version of the Overlord, also basically a combination of a normal Shock and the Overlord, obviously, I'll put it in A tier. But now up next we have the Sun, and the name just speaks for itself. It's literally the sun. And again, the Mythic looks super cool. I could talk about Mythics all day because we're getting really close to them. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the Sun in A or B. I guess I'll go A. But as for the Thorn Dragon on the other hand, that's a pretty basic legendary. I'm gonna have to put that one in high C tier. But the title guide though, I'm really glad to see this made a return. The Mining Sim 2 version and this version is so cool. And I hatched one of these really early on into the update, but I'll give it A tier. But up next we have this Tiger's Eye. In fact, these next 3 legendaries here are in fact exclusives. But we got the Tiger's Eye right here, which I personally think is the best for out these 3, and I'll give it A tier. As for the Toilet Doggy right here, You don't have to be a genius to know what this is referencing. The 5-year-olds will get really mad if I didn't give it a high ranking, but I'm not going any higher than B. As for the Tollcat though, does anyone even remember this thing? Since no one really remembers it, I don't think anyone would mind me putting in C. But now for the tourist doggy. It has that really refreshing vibe to it. Perfect for the beach festival, but it's getting C. As for the trio cube right here, this was super cool. And for the first index pet, it wasn't bad. It was also really strong, but I'm gonna give it A tier. And to end off the T's, we have the True Titan, which is another one of those Deltarune references. Come to think of it, there's a handful of things that are in bgsi inspired off Deltarune. The True Titan being one of them, and the mechanics of fishing being the other one. Maybe some others too that I'm missing, so let me know in the comments. But I'm giving the True Titan A tier. And now we have the Umbra, but no one uses the spin wheels anymore, so I'm just gonna give it B. And then we also have the Unicorn, a basic legendary. I'm throwing that in B tier. We'll put it right next to the Emerald Golem. But finally, to end off our Sunday champions, we have the Vanilla Sunday Champion. This was the second Sunday champion I've hatched, and vanilla is my favorite flavor out of all the 4. But we're putting that in A tier. Moving on though, we have the Vaporeon, basically a really advanced version of a Hexarium. But like the Kitsune, I have not gotten this thing, not even close. So I might have to go ahead and trade for it, but I'm putting it in A tier. But up next we have the Venom Moth. You guys might remember this guy from Pet Catchers, and when the update came out, people got this thing fast. For now, I'm going to give it a high A tier. But now we have our 3 Vine pets, the Vine Kitty, the Vine Dino, and finally Vine Deer. The Vine is in fact a nice touch, but I'm still going to put him in C tier. So there's our Vine Kitty, there's our Vine Dino, and there's the Vine Deer. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the flowers also change colors. I think that's just the Vine Dino though. But now here we have the Virus, basically the sea urchin. And since that's in B tier, we'll put the Virus in B tier. Also, a shiny sea urchin is basically a virus. But anyways, let's now move on to this Void Bat, and this other row of Void pets too. But what is this? I know this is the Void Eye, but I forgot what this was called, like a Void Cube or something. But Void Bat, I'm gonna put in C tier, because it's basic. For the Void Crystal Doggy, I mean, I do like the crystal texture. I might place it in low B tier. As for the Void Crystal Parasite, I'll give that A tier. This Void Demon, we'll put in C tier. This really cool looking thing I forgot the name of. I do think this was an exclusive pet though alongside the sailboat. So here it is. So they're both in A tier. But then I got this Void Eye. And I mean, it's not too bad, not gonna lie. And we need some more pets in B tier, so B for that. But up next we have this Void Flame. And man, this thing is basically like a mask. That's what I thought the first time I saw it. But nonetheless, I do think it's pretty cool, so I'm giving it A tier. As for the Void Kitty on the other hand, that's gonna have to go into C tier. But now we have this Void Scorpion. The only Scorpion we've gotten in the game so far, but still it is nice to see it come back. Would I say it's a tier 3 though? Kind of. More of like a tier 2.5. I'll still give it A tier. As for this weird looking thingy right here, I'm just gonna have to give that C tier. But now for this Watermelon Boy. Besides the Beach Boy, this is the only other boy we have. There used to be a whole lot more of the boys in BGS1. What happened? Anyway, so we now have the Water Serpent. We just have a few more normal pets left to rank. I think the Water Serpent's pretty cool, but since it was in the Series 2 egg, which was added way early on into the game, it is pretty tiny. But yeah, I'm gonna put it in A tier. Then we have this Wilted Branch, a walking legendary pet. I know, pretty surprising. And I mean, it does have wings, but again, it's basically a branch. B tier. And now we have this Wind Fairy, which I think looks pretty cool. And it's not bad for just, you know, an epic pet. I'll put that in B tier too. As for the Winged Doggy on the other hand, they just threw some wings on a doggy. I mean, it is nice to see it come back though, but it's basic, so I'm gonna have to put it in C tier. Probably one of our last C tier pets since we're getting into the mythic pets. But now next we have just a basic wolf, and we're just gonna put it into C tier. And then we have the closest looking thing to a Leviathan, the Wolf Lord. We'll come to think of it, furry Leviathan. We'll put this furry furball in A tier. Low A tier actually cause it looks like a Leviathan. Minus points for that. But the woman face god right here, that can also go into A tier, we'll put it right next to the man face god, right here. Gonna think of it, where did we put the bra god? Here it is. Just drag that down. And then we have whatever this thing was called. I'm already forgetting these new pets' names, but it was added this update, and it does look pretty nice, so I'll give that A tier. And then finally, to end off the normal pets, we have the Yellow Fox, and we're just gonna put that into C tier because it is basic. So yeah, that's basically every single pet in BGSI ranked. So before we get into the mythics, let's go ahead and do a quick little scroll, so you can see where I placed all the pets. And yeah, though this was a lot here, we are not done, because we still have to rank. To continue our list, we have the Mythic Abyssal Dragon. And just before I start, I just realized I am missing a couple of pets besides the ones down here, and I don't feel like adding them, so I'll leave my rankings on those in the comments below, because there are like a few secret pets I missed. But anyways, we have the Abyssal Dragon right here, and I mean, it's not too crazy, you know? So where do we put the normal Abyss Dragon? Alright, that was in B tier. We'll move the Mythic up to A tier. Alright though, for the Mythic Ace, again, really sad it was downgraded to a legendary, but I'm gonna have to give it a high A tier. As for the Mythic Air Basilisk on the other hand, and once again, let's just go ahead and grab all of our Basilisks, because if you thought the normal Basilisks were cool, just have a look at the Mythic. These are just amazing. Definite high S tier. I'm not putting anything in double S. Though they are super cool looking, S is all they get. So yeah, there's all of our Basilisks right there. But continuing on, we have the Mythic Amalgamation. Now this is just basically a pile of rare pets. It's not too crazy, but I guess it is enough for it to land in A tier. Alright, Mythic Ancient One. I'm just gonna stop saying Mythic for every single pet, but this is a really cool Mythic. So yeah, definite A tier. As for the Angel Bee though, I mean, it is a tier 1 legendary. So with those, they don't really change much. I'll give it B. And it's pretty much the same story for the Mythic Anglerfish right here. It is another tier 1 legendary, and they don't really change much with the tier 1 mythics, so B tier. Alright, so now we have the Mythic Atlantis Guardian. This is really cool. Definite A tier. Alright though, now we have the Avernus. Now for its time, this is a really cool mythic. So you know what, I'm just gonna put it in S tier. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot of mythics coming in here. But now we have the Axolotl plushie in its actual form. They just basically took the axolotl out of this and called it a pet. But yeah, this right here was actually downgraded from a secret pet. I'm still gonna give it A tier though. Alright though, BBB. They pretty much just added another B to the bunch and called it a day. And it's nothing too crazy, so I'll give it A tier. I think this is a really good mythic. For now, I might give it high A tier. I might move it up to low S. I think we should move it up to low S. We need some more S tier pets. Mythic Bionic Shard though. I do have some beef with this thing, and I thought I got robbed for a mech robot. Anyways, let's move on with the Mythic Bloom Shifter. And well, we put the normal one in S tier, as you can see right there. So I mean, why not put this one in S tier too? I mean, it's only fair. But what about the Blueberry Snow Cone right here? Personally, I think it should go in S tier. And what happened to the Blue Raspberries? Those are grapes. Alright, now we have the Bongo Kitty. And I mean, by the looks of it, they didn't really do much with the mythic. So I suppose we could give it like a high B tier. But as for the broken TV right here, I do like the cracks they added. And obviously they added some horns because, I mean, they added a lot of stuff with the mythics. I think that's good enough for this pet to land in A tier. But now we have the Bruh God. And I mean, it's just pretty much the exact same thing. It's basically the Bruh God with shocked eyes. So I'm putting it in A tier. But for the Mythic Brattle, what did they do? I mean, it is pretty much the bruh version of the Overlord, but I'm still gonna give it A tier. Mythic Seraph Bruh, it's pretty cool. Well, actually, it's called the Bruh Split. We'll get to the Seraph Bruh later, but I think I'll just give it A tier. Mythic Bug Gamer though. Bug Gamer is already really cool. I think once again we'll go ahead and place this into A tier, but let's actually try and find the normal Bug Gamer. Alright, so all the way up here. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Candy Winged Hydra. I mean, it didn't really add much to this thing, but just some wings. It's pretty much a Mythic standard, so I mean, I'm gonna have to do A tier. Alright though, Captain Monkey. Much better outfit, definitely. And blue is my favorite color. I'll give it high A tier. Captain's Curse though, this is super cool. I put the normal one in A tier, so for the mythic, why not go S tier, not gonna lie. I mean, we need more. Alright though, we now have the Capybara plushie. And it looks like he's sitting on an orange. I think that's really cool. I'll say it once and I'll say it again, we need more capybaras. But A tier. Alright though, Mythic Cardinal Bunny. This one's so good. This is a really good mythic legendary. I might go S tier again, not gonna lie. But what about the Mythic Carrot Pufferfish? I'm kind of debating on the same thing. Do I want to put that in S tier? Or give it a high A tier and move it up when no one expects it? I guess we'll go A tier. Alright, now we have the Celestial Bruh. And I mean, it is a tier 1 legendary. I believe it's tier 1. Probably the tier 2 legendary, but I guess it's cool. But I'm just gonna put that in A tier. As for the Celestial Split though, like I said, they don't add much with tier 1 legendary mythics. But yeah, it does look like I put that Celestial Split in A tier, so we'll put the mythic in A tier too. Alright, the Mythic Cherry Snow Cone. I mean, it's only fair we put this in S tier because we hit the Blue Raspberry Snow Cone there. So there we go. Alright though, now for the Mythic Chess Mimic. Did they even change anything? Hold on, let's find our normal chest mimic. Not gonna lie, it looks the exact same. All I really see is horns. It can just stay an A. Mythic chocolate bunny though. I had to trade for a shiny cardinal just to get this thing, and it is pretty cool, so I'll give it A tier. But now we have our mythic chocolate sundae champion. And though it is a pretty cool champion, I'm not gonna give it S tier, like it did with the snow cones. But I'll give it high A tier. We're gonna do it with the other Sunday champions later on. Let's now go ahead and continue with the contrast. The mythic contrast. It's a really cool purple color. But like I did with the mythic ace, we're gonna go ahead and put this in A tier. We'll put it right next to it. Again, really cool legendary. But now for the mythic corrupt glitch. I don't really have much to add to this thing, it's alright. And I mean, with the corrupt glitch's weird shape, there's not really much you could do with a mythic. I don't even see it anymore. I'm just gonna throw it in A tier. There it is. Alright though, now we have the mythic cosmic herald. Super cool mythic, one of my favorites. I'll give it a very high A tier. I might move it up. But now for the cream snow cone, obviously we're gonna have to put that into S tier because we put the other snow cones there. All the mythic snow cones though do look pretty identical. They all have like a shade of red or purple. Mythic crescent empress though, I think I'll just go ahead and place that into A tier with the normal crescent empress. It's just based off the icon, you don't really see much of a change. But now for the mythic crimson blood moon. Let's just drag that to the normal for comparison. And obviously we can see the size is a lot larger. And we got these horns too, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll give it A tier. As for the crimson butterfly though, again it gets that mythic tier 1 treatment, but I'll bump it up to A tier. But now for the mystic crystal teddy, what did they do to my bro? They turned an innocent teddy bear evil. A tier though. But now for the mythic crystal unicorn. And we might as well do the same for the mythic cyborg phoenix. I'm just gonna go ahead and put both of those into B tier. Matter of fact, the cyborg phoenix is actually an A tier. Matter of fact, I lied, it's right here. I'll give it very high B tier though. Alright, mythic doggy 1337. I really like the mythic design on this. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'll put it in S tier. I just think the goggles are cool. Mythic dark guardian. Yeah, it's another really cool mythic secret, so I don't see why we wouldn't put this in S tier. And hey, staying with the mythic dark jellyfish, I don't know about you guys, but I'll give that S tier too. That's 3 S tiers in a row. But yeah, the mythic dark jellyfish, that is so cool. Alright though, mythic darkness. I don't think they do much with walking legendaries. I'll still give this A tier though, because that's where the normal darkness is. But now for the mythic darkness creature. Now what's cool about this is that they actually made it flying, and they also changed the eye colors. I suppose it's enough for this to get A tier. But what about the mythic dark phoenix? We put the normal one in B tier, so I think we'll just put this into like a low A tier. Matter of fact, we might as well move up the mythic cyborg phoenix, so there we go. Alright though, mythic deception, that's pretty cool. I'll give it S tier. Mythic the Mentor now. The most obvious mythic change. Instead of 1 head, they gave the Dementor 2 heads. I don't know why they did that for the mythic. Maybe because of the dual alcorn. But I'll give it S tier, not gonna lie. As for the Demonarium right here, not cool enough for it to get S tier. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in A tier. And it's pretty much the same story for the mythic demonic hydra. I just like the candy wing hydra mythic, they just basically added wings. I'll give it A tier. Mythic demon lord. Now I've actually hatched 3 of these guys. So even if I didn't hatch the mythic heckfire, wherever that is, and the other 2 mythic secrets, then I could have Colossal Inferno. But nonetheless, I'll give it A tier. But now here we have the mythic demon web. And this pet has some really nice colors, so yeah, I'll give that A tier. Mythic destiny on the other hand, that's super cool. So I mean, it's only fair we give that S tier too. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of mythics in here, and it's already starting to pile up. As for the DIY robot though, nice try doggy, but I'll give it A tier. But now for the mythic diamond hexarium. Pretty much a golden super hexarium. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and rank all of our hexariums right now, so you know I won't have to do it later. Even the super hexarium and mangorium. For these 2 hexariums right here, we're going to go ahead and put those into A tier, because like I said, they're basically super hexariums. The mythic super hexarium though is basically a mythic hexarium. Nonetheless though, I'm still putting it in A tier. And for the mythic mangorium though, it still has its wings and stuff, so yeah, I'll give it A tier too. But now let's go ahead and continue on with the mythic diamond overlord. And once again, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and rank all the overlords right now, because I mean, I'm just gonna put them all in the exact same place, and there is a lot, I can't even find them. And I even missed the hexarium. Alright, so we have the mythic overlord, mythic diamond overlord, and mythic jelly overlord. And I'm gonna go ahead and put them all in A tier. So there's the overlord, diamond overlord. I think this was actually supposed to be gray, like a reference to the platinum overlord, but as you can see, it is green. And mythic jelly overlord, I'll give it A tier, better than the other overlords. Alright, so now we have the mythic diamond ring. A mythic I actually hatched, and my rarest hatch in the game actually. And it's a pretty cool secret pet, but I'm gonna give it A. Now for the Mythic Diamond Serpent. And I think again, I'm gonna rank all of them at once. Because like I said, they're all gonna go into the exact same place. And I'm already starting to forget names. But yeah, as you can see, we got a lot of serpents. I know that's the Midas, this is the Minty Serpent. Yes, this still counts as a serpent. And I can't seem to find any more. Maybe it's right in front of me and I'm blind. Alright, then we have 4 Mythic Serpents and I'm going to put all 4 of them in A tier. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Dice Split. Quick little fun fact, this was actually the normal dice split in Mining Sim 2. They used the Mythic model instead of the normal, and I would give it A tier. But now for the Mythic Dog Cat, aka the Mythic Duality inside Bubblegum Simulator 1, and the normal duality in Mining Sim 2, which was swapped out for this thing. Nonetheless, I'm still gonna give it, we'll give it high A tier. But now for these 2 Mythic Dominuses right here, I'm not gonna try and remember names. It is actually a serpent I missed. But yeah, we'll give this Dominus A tier. Let's actually try and find out a little Dominus collection. Here it is. And we'll do the same with this one too. The Mythic Dominus Serpent, A tier again. Alright though, Mythic Doof. I mean, they just stacked on top of each other. And Round Kitty's better. Alright though, now we have the Duominus. And once again, really cool colors on the pet. We'll go ahead and group it with the rest of our Dominuses in A tier. But as for the Mythic Dragon Fruit, I personally think that's really cool. And I do really like the colors. I'm gonna give it S tier. We haven't had an S tier in a while. And by a while, I mean like a few minutes. But now for the Mythic Dragon Plushie. That looks crazy. Alright, I'm gonna give it high A tier. But now for the Mythic Dreadful Dragon, we'll give it an A tier too. But as for the Mythic Dreamcatcher right here, I mean, it's still a bit of a downgrade. I mean, better than a normal one though, so we'll bump it up to A tier. Mythic Dreamscape though, and we'll also do the Dreamscape influence, because they're both looking at something. We'll make them look at the Mythic Fossilis. They're both looking at the Mythic Fossilis now, but now they're going to be looking at that Mythic Dreamcatcher. That's an A tier. And speaking of Mythic Fossilis, let's go ahead and just throw that in A tier too, because why not? Alright though, Mythic Dual Corn. Or well, Trio Corn as it's called now. Cause that's basically all they pretty much did. But I'm still gonna give it A tier. But now for that Mythic Duality, really cool colors. So I mean, why not put that in A tier too? We'll give it like a mid A tier. Then again, it doesn't really matter where I place them in A tier because I gave some of these pets high A tier and they're somewhere down here. Anyway, so we got the Mythic Dark Champion. And I think, not gonna lie, we should just rank all of our champions right now. Yes, I'm doing that again. And once again, I can't find one. Well, it'll show up eventually, I can't find it. But I'm just gonna go ahead and throw these 3 in A tier. So there is all of our champions. And maybe I already ranked the thing and forgot. Anyway, so I'm not gonna spend all day finding it. We got the Mythic Easter Basket now. And instead of just containing eggs, it now contains some pets. So pretty cool touch, we'll give it A tier. Now for the Mythic Electra. Like most of the pets on release, it didn't really do much with the Mythic compared to what they're doing now. But I'll put it with the rest of the Dominus gang, wherever that is. Here they are. Alright, now we have the Mythic Elite Soul. I almost thought this was the Eternal Heart for a second. Came all the way back from competitive season 1, but I'll give it A. If the Elite Challenger had a Mythic, what would that look like? But anyways, we have the Mythic Emerald Golem, and I'm just not gonna waste any time with this thing. I'll put it in B tier. It is pretty basic. As for the Mythic Equalizer though, I got this around the same time I got my shiny Hyperwave Kitty. And I even got a shiny Mythic of this, that I think could have been that Frost Defender. I'm gonna give it A tier. As for the Mythic Eternal Cucumber, when I asked a couple videos though what this thing looked like, someone said it's just a big doggy. RIP. I'm still giving it an A tier though, cause I do like the icon. But now for the Mythic Eternal Star. Now I did really good with this thing, especially since it's, you know, just a star. High A tier. But now we have the Mythic Eternity. My first Mythic Secret Hatch. And I was just finding this out, but this is actually worth almost 300,000 value. I was absolutely shocked when I saw this. I'm definitely giving this pet S tier. There we go. Alright, I think here is the Mythic Ethereal Bunny. This is actually called the Ethereal 1. I can't believe I forgot. And called this thing the Eversun. Nonetheless, I'm still placing both in A tier. We'll put the Ethereal 1 in high A tier. Mythic Everblaze gets S tier. I'm doing this so Timmy does not ban me. Timmy, please do not ban me. Mythic Evil. It's kind of basic, not gonna lie. And to be fair, it is another one of those tier 1 legendaries, so I'm gonna have to place that into B tier. But now we have the Mythic Evil Bee. I think the Mythic is pretty cool, but I'm gonna give it like a slightly mid, slightly low, mid, low, mid, low, mid A tier. Basically like mid, low A tier. Alright, the Mythic Escabot. I really like the design on this thing. I hope I can get my hands on one of these. I might give that high A tier, just because I like the design. The Excabot is one of my favorites, but now we have the Fallen Angel. And I can't believe one of the league staff and the watchers called this thing the Grandfather Leviathan. Kinda crazy take. But knowing the Leviathan has a brother and a sister, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the Grandfather Leviathan. But moving on, we have the Mythic False Prophet. And yeah, Rayquaza Nova did a really good job on this thing. I'm gonna give it S tier, definitely. Alright though, for the Mythic Fire King. I haven't actually seen this thing, but I know it is still pretty small. Probably not though, probably like a normal sized mythic pet. For its time, of course. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it A tier. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Flying Piggy. And once again, it's another one of those basic mythic pets, so we're gonna have to put that in B tier. As for the Mythic Fossil Ghost though, this looks pretty cool. I'll definitely put that in high A tier. As for the Mythic Frost Defender and Galactic Paldean, I'm just gonna put them in the exact same spot. Cause I already put the normal Frost Defender in S tier, so why not this one? And once again, same story for the Galactic Paldean. It's up there in S tier, so same thing. Alright though, now I know this is called the Mythic Galaxium, and I think that looks really cool. And I already put the other Hexariums in A tier. We'll start making a Mythic Hexarium group. Yeah. But now we have the Mythic Game Master. It's an alright Mythic. I don't really have much to say about that, so I'll just throw it in A tier. But now for the Squid Game Dominus thingy. Instead of it being a guard, you got like the actual headmaster. Jump me for this, but I never watched Squid Game. I only seen the clips. We'll put it right next to the guard in A tier. Alright though, now we have this thing. I'm going to put the Chicken Jockey in S tier. Also, I would throw the shiny mythic version in here because it does actually change. The chicken is actually rainbow. And instead of this zombie, there's someone else. I think it was Peep the Frog. But yeah, I'll give it S tier, definitely. But anyways, we have the Mythic Giant DIY Robot, aka the DIY Robot 2.0. And I do like the Robot 2.0 better than the Giant Robot. I'll give it A tier though. And no need to explain, Mythic Giant Robot, aka Robot 2.0, that's getting S tier. And Mythic Gigantic Spitty. We actually got to see what a Mythic Gigantic Spitty looked like for the first time at the time we're recording this video. It's basically a purple Spitty stacked on top of purple Spitty. And it's the coolest thing in the world. Whoever thought of that thing is an absolute genius. Hats off to you, my friend. Double S tier. Alright though, now let's continue on with the Mythic Glitch. I hatched way too many of these things. But I think I hatched a lot more aces than glitches, not gonna lie. Pretty crazy stuff. But anyways, we got the Mythic Glyph Warrior up next. This is super cool looking, especially for just a tiny little legendary pet. Definitely putting that in a high A tier. As for the Mythic Godly Gem though, I did put the normal in S tier, so why not the Mythic? But now we have the Mythic Golden Retriever. And I mean, not gonna lie, for me this is just meh. I don't really care for the Golden Retriever. I'm just gonna throw this in A tier. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Green Hydra. And instead of adding wings like the Demonic Hydra and Candy Winged Hydra, this year adds more heads. And this was my first shiny mythic legendary I hatched. That wasn't an Emerald Golem. Like my first actual rare pet. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Guardian of Light. The only mythic I've hatched 3 of before normal. And it's a tier 3 too. And it was actually the normal model, so that's why this was a doggy. But I'm putting it in A tier. And now we have the Mythic Gumdrop King. And even though you cannot see this, there's actually some little gumdrops following this thing. That's a pretty cool touch. A tier. As for the Mythic Gummy Dragon, that's just your average mythic tier 1. I'm gonna put it in B. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Hacker Prism. I believe this is the only Chest Rift legendary I've hatched a mythic of. And I even got a shiny Mythic Hacker Prism too. So that's pretty cool. Alright though, now we have this Mythic Haunted Ghost, or Haunted Spirit thingy. Alright, I'll give it A tier. And it kinda looks like a Sinister Lord, not gonna lie. Actually, not the Sinister Lord, the Ultimate Lord from Onyxen. Alright though, Mythic Heckfire. This thing is huge, and I really like it. So yeah, that's a definite S tier for me. Mythic Holy Egg though. Another really cool mythic legendary. I'll give that A tier. I put it at the really top though. Mythic Hyperwave Kitty. I think at the time I had my shiny Hyperwave Kitty, the mythic secrets and stuff are like bugged. I don't think anyone could like hatch them. I think that's what happened. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the Mythic Hyperwave in A tier. I'll give it high A. Alright, the Mythic Immortal one, this is super cool. That's another definite S tier for me. And I'll put it at the very top. But now for the Infernus. I think that's what it's called. Really cool, but no one remembers it. I'm still gonna give it like high A tier. But now for the Mythic Infernal Cube. I do like what they did with the Mythic model. I think it's really nice. And with that, I'll bump it up to A tier. As for the Mythic Infernal Dragon though, I'm just gonna have to put that into B tier. It gets that, you know, tier 1 treatment. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Jackpot. Now if you took the time to hatch a normal jackpot, if you hatched a Mythic, go touch some grass, dog. I do like the colors though, so I'm going to give that high A tier. Alright, now we have this elemental I already forgot the name of, for some reason. But I'm going to give it A tier. And no, it was not called the Neon Elemental. It was the Jawbreaker Elemental. What am I thinking? Anyway, so we have the King Doggy up next. Now this is another one of those pets where the normal and shiny don't really look anything different. But I remember a shiny mythic of this getting hatched. Pretty crazy times. Alright, so now we have the Mythic King Kitty. I think this is better than the Mythic King Doggy. And I'll give it S tier to prove it. Alright, so now we have the Mythic King Mush. And just like the Gumdrop King, this here has some little companions following it. Another nice touch, so I'll give that A tier. Continuing our King trend, we have the King Pufferfish. And I might as well rank the other kings too. I don't know if the King Slime has any companions following it, or if it's just by itself. But anyways, I think the King Pufferfish is super cool. I'm gonna give that high A tier. For the King Seahorse, which I thought was a fish for some reason, that's just gonna get A tier. And King Slime, that's also gonna get just an A tier. Alright though, Mythic Kiwi Dragon. Now despite this just being a tier 1 legendary, I think it actually looks pretty nice, so I'm bumping that up to A tier. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Kraken, or well, the Slaykin. It's another one of those memes in the Rumble Studio community, but I in fact have my beef with this thing. But yeah, I'm gonna give it A tier for the time being. Alright though, let's go ahead and continue with this Mythic Lamp Ghost. Really cool pet. Has some really nice colors, so I'll go ahead and place that in like high A tier. Liberty, pretty much the same story. I really like the colors on this. That's another high A tier, definitely. As for the Light Cube, on the other hand, unfortunately it does get that tier 1 treatment, but to give it credit, I think it looks pretty cool. And I already put the Infernal Cube in A tier, so it's only fair I get the Light Cube Mythic in A tier too. Alright though, Mythic Lord Shock, this is super cool. Definitely one of my favorite mythics, so I'm definitely going to put that one in S tier. Mythic Lovely Rose though, it's alright for a mythic, but I'm throwing that in A tier. Alright though, Mythic Lucid Leaf. Once again, this is really cool looking, so yeah, S tier. Mythic Luminosity. I already put the normal one in S tier, so we have to put the mythic there. Now we have this flower thingy right here that I already forgot the name of. Don't know how that keeps happening. I don't even know the name of this again. Alright though, I think this is alright, so I'm giving it A tier. We'll actually give it like a high-ish A tier. As for the Mythic Lunar Serpent though, do I want to give that like a high B tier or a low A tier? I think I'll go ahead and place that in like low A tier. Not gonna lie, B tier is looking really small right now. Like I said, I still don't know the name of this thing, but again, some cool colors. I'm just gonna call it the I don't know spliff or something. But that right there is an A tier. I do know it's an exclusive pet. Alright, so for the Mythic Magma Cube, it is basic, but don't get me wrong, it does look kind of cool. So alright, just because I need some more things in B tier, I'm putting it in B tier. Alright, so now for the Mythic Magmus. Once again, another forgotten pet. And if you don't remember this, I don't blame you. If you even took the time to get the mythic, that's crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna throw that in A tier. Do any mythics exist though? That's the real question. Alright, so now we have the Mythic Minarium. Basically, all Mythic Hexariums turn into the Super Hexarium. This is no different. And the iconic face is still there, just larger. A tier. Mythic Manface God, pretty much the same thing as the Mythic Brug God. Why is it looking at me like that? But yeah, I think only like 2 of those or like 3 exist. It's pretty crazy. Right though, Mythic Mariposa. At the time of recording, I actually got me a normal Mariposa. It's pretty cool. And once again, I've already put the normal Mariposa in an S tier, so we're gonna put the Mythic Mariposa in S tier. Right though, Mythic Mech Robot. Another one of my favorites. But design wise, it is pretty old. I'm giving it a high A tier though. Right though, Mint Sundae Champion. When exactly did I place the Mythic Chocolate Sundae Champion? Alright, that's an A tier. More like a high A tier. But yeah, there we go. Mythic Monolith, on the other hand. I think that looks pretty cool. Do I want to give it like S tier or A tier? I want to see more S tier pets. Mythic Moonburst though, it's still pretty small. I can't put that in S tier, but I will give it A tier. Right there. Right though, Mythic Moon Deer. And I'll do the same for the Mythic Moonlight. But I do like the Mythic Moonlight. I think that looks really cool. Alright, let's give the Mythic Moonlight A tier. And I'll give the Mythic Moon Deer A tier too. I hope one of these days I can get me like a Mythic Season Pass pet. Because the best I've gotten is still a shiny. Alright though, now we have the Moonlight Gaze. And we got this golden moon, it looks super cool. It also looks like there's like planets and stuff surrounding it, or whatever that stuff is. I'm gonna give it like high A tier. Alright, so up next we have the Mythic Nebula. I think that's alright. I believe I already placed a normal nebula in like high A tier or something. But I'll give the Mythic high A tier. We'll put it at the top for now. Alright though, Mythic Neon Elemental. This is my favorite OG Mythic. Cause just look at this thing, it's so cool. Alright though, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in A tier. As for the Mythic Neon Wire Eye though, still very wiry, but just much larger. That's all I can really say, and I'm just gonna throw it at an A tier. I don't even know where I did it. As for the Mythic Neon Wyvern though it is a tier 1, I do like the design. So we're gonna bump the Mythic up to A tier. Mythic Noctic. I really like that right there. It looks so cool. Yeah, I'm gonna put that at the top of the Dominuses, because I do like the colors on that. Alright though, Mythic Novoid. If you hatch one of these on release, you had some really crazy luck. This is like one of the only pets that I really can't hatch, no matter how hard I try. But also I haven't bet on the Void Egg for a while. I don't really go for bounties anymore. But I'm gonna put that in A tier. But as for the Mythic Ophinum right here, alright, I think that looks sick. It looks like I already put the normal one in A tier. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same with the Mythic. Alright, now we have the Mythic Overlord plushie. Yeah, I love all my blue pets, you know that. I'm giving it high A tier. Maybe I'll move it up to like low S. I might do it later when you're not looking. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Overseer. And I don't know if it's just me or not, but not the biggest fan of the colors. I mean, I'll still give it A tier nonetheless, because it is an Overseer. Alright though, now we got this Mythic Overlord. Kinda looks like some watermelon flavored candy. That's what the colors remind me of. And I already put the normal in S tier, so I mean, it's only fair we put the Mythic there. Alright though, Mythic Paragon, we can easily throw that one in B tier, because you know, it is really basic. Mythic Parasite, I can go ahead and throw that into A tier. I do think all the parasites are really cool. And as for the Mythic Parasol Paladin, that is super cool. Now imagine I actually hatched that right there. That would be insane. And once again, I already put the normal Parasol Paladin in S tier, so you have to put the Mythic there. Alright though, Mythic Patriotic Penguin. Though it is a tier 1, I mean, it is a bit of a step up. I suppose I'll give it like low A tier. Mythic Patriotic Robot, though I really like the sunset themed colors. I mean, it's definitely getting high A tier. Patriotic Shock I really like also. It's actually red, white, and blue now. Where did I throw that normal one at though? I can't even find it. Whatever, I'm still gonna put it in A tier. Alright then, now we have the Patriotic Heart. I think it was actually called the Patriotic Soul. Closest thing we got to the Topaz Heart. And I'm not gonna make the mistake of throwing that in S tier. You guys were a bit upset about that. I'm gonna leave it in A tier. But as for the Mythic Patronus, this I really like. And once again, the normal is already up there in S tier. Or is it not? I don't even remember at this point. Alright, whatever, I'm gonna throw that in S tier. I'm just realizing the normal Patriotic Robot is there, so yeah, bump that up to S tier. Let's now continue on with the Mythic Pearl Goddess. If only, if only this was a secret pet. For me, I'll give it A tier. As for the Mythic Pineapple Tourist though, which actually just turned into a pineapple for some reason. Where did bro's shirt go? I'll give it A tier, but please put a shirt on. Alright though, Mythic Pixel Hydra. Basically the Pixel Demonic Hydra. That looks very nice. I'll give it high A tier. Mythic Platinum Dualcorn. I don't know if it was just me or not, but the silhouette of this thing kinda looked like a secret pet. I even went as far as to say that this was a King Kitty, but I'll still bump it up to A tier. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Pong Queen. It kinda looks like the water turned into lava. To me, that's what it looks like. I'm gonna give it, we'll go high A tier. Without messing up the Federation team. Alright though, now we have the Mythic Popsicle Trio. It's very sparkly now. So yeah, definitely bumping that up to A tier. Now for the Mythic Prisma. Once again, that's a super cool pet. Alright though, I'm gonna put that at high A tier. Right though, Mythic Prismatic. Definitely an upgrade from the normal Prismatic. I like this better. And it seems like I already put the normal one in A tier. Yup, there it is right there. And the Mythic looks much better. So we'll go close to high A tier. As for the Mythic Prophet though, once again, love it or hate it, I should stop doing high A tier and start throwing stuff in S tier, not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure you're tired of always hearing me say high A tier. Like, I should just start throwing stuff in S tier at this point. But this I'm not gonna throw into S tier. I mean, it's just a pyramid. But the Mythic Pyramidium here is actually the normal Pyramidium inside Mining Sim 2. And I'm just gonna give that A tier. Not high A tier or anything, just A tier. Don't mind the fact they put it at the top though. Now for the Mythic Queen Bee, this thing is huge. And the normal was already large, especially for 1 in 20 million. Like, if they made the Mythic Queen Bee this big, they should have made the jackpot big too, because that's the exact same chance. As for this Mythic Queen Kitty though, I do like the blue on this. I'm just going to give it A tier though. And check it out, we're starting to run out of pets. Well, I mean, technically not, because I am missing some. And I'm pretty sure you can already pick out which ones I did miss. Besides these down here. Alright though, now we have this Radiant Crystal Dragon Mythic. This and the Void Crystal Dragon Mythic are so cool. Especially especially the colors. I never actually got to see one though, but for me that's definitely A tier. I even saw someone in a private server hatch the Mythic Void Crystal Dragon, and they had 400,000 eggs. That was pretty crazy stuff, and it took me a whole 40 million to get my first Mythic. But anyways, now we have the Mythic Radiant Elemental. I don't know what I'm gonna add about this, so I'm just gonna throw it in A tier. But what I can say about the Mythic Rainbow Marshmallow is that this is insanely cool. I really wished I could have hatched this, so for me that's definitely getting top of A tier for right now. Also, the Mythic Rainbow Shock, for its time, I thought this was the coolest thing ever. Like seeing all the OG BGS pets get a Mythic form, that was awesome. So A tier for that. Mythic Rigby, bro's going Super Saiyan. Looks exactly like the Super Pufferfish. Where exactly did I put that though? Here it is, now they can go Super Saiyan together. Mythic Ringmaster, that looks awesome. That's a Mythic I think I could hatch pretty fast. But once again, it is really forgotten, so I haven't really got the chance to do it. And I don't really grind the board game anymore. As for the Mythic Rock Kidney Golem right here, we put the normal one in B tier as you can see, but I'm gonna bump this one up to A tier. And do I really need to explain myself? Double S. Mythic Roundbra though. As you can see, I already put the normal Roundbra in F tier, so we have to put the... I'll give it D tier, not gonna lie. Alright, the Mythic Royal Guardian. Come on, that's too cool for me. Notice how a good fraction of S tier is blue pets. Royal Guardian though, definitely one of my favorites. Right though, Mythic Royal Trophy, where they basically just added the King Doggy, with nothing else inside. Alright, I'll give that A tier. Then we have the Mythic Runic Defender. Why does the symbol at the top look like some sort of cryptocurrency? Probably the most dystopian pet on this list. Alright though, Mythic Sailboat. We got my boy King Doggy and the Emerald Golem. Why does the water kind of look like snow? I'll put it right next to the normal in A. Alright though, Mythic Sea Turtle, or should I say turtles. Man brought the whole family along. Still A tier though. Alright though, Mythic Sea Urchin. Starting to really run out of pets here. But yeah, I do like the colors on the Mythic Sea Urchin, and it actually looks a bit different from the Mythic Virus, but I'm gonna give that A tier. Alright though, Mythic Seraph. That looks like something straight out of a horror movie, and I like it. Alright though, Mythic Seraph Bra, and I'll also do the Seraph Bunny. Bra's still chilling, give that A tier. And Seraph Bunny, or else Seraph Split, whatever you want to call it. We put the normal in B tier, so we'll move the Mythic up to A. Alright though, let's now continue on with the Mythic Serene Axolotl. Normal Serene was pretty cool, and it's already in A tier, so Mythic also gets A tier. Mythic Shadow Hunter. Now for just a simple tier 1 legendary, that looks super cool. And the Shadow Hunter's already in A tier, so we'll move the Mythic up to A tier too. I only hatched like one of these things. Pretty crazy stuff, but anyways, let's now continue on with the Mythic Shadow Leviathan. And why is it looking at me like that? And well, the normal is already in S tier, so I mean, we'll put the Mythic up in S tier too. It's only fair. Mythic Shard, or well, pretty much the evolved version of the Mega Shard from Mining Sim 2. I'll give that A tier, definitely. But then we got the Mythic Shivering Shard and Mythic Shinigami. I think those two are really cool, especially my boy Mythic Shinigami. I think for me personally, that's a definite S tier. And for the Mythic Shimmering Shirt, that's also going to be an S tier. And also big shout out to Spike for donating these two secret pets. Like, he's donated a lot besides these two. He also gave me like an Eternal Heart. He actually gifted me the pass 3 times so I could get the Eternal Heart. And in last Game Pass, I needed to get money bags. He's a really cool guy. Alright though, as for the Mythic Sigma Serpent right here, what kind of rose is he holding in his mouth? Is bro going out with a Martian? Anyways, for the Mythic Silly Doggy, that's a nice chain. Just for the chain, I'm putting it in S tier, because I am going to steal it for myself later on. I'm sorry, Mythic Silly Doggy, but that's the real world. Alright though, now for a Mythic Sir Doggyton. Bro is still fancy as always, and he still has that really tall top hat. I'm gonna give it A tier. Mythic Soarin' Surfer though. This thing would always just show up. I'm just gonna throw it in A tier and not say anything else. But as for the Mythic Soul Jam, I know how to get the normal one, but how exactly do you like get a Mythic one of these things? Is it just like a 1 in 9 chance or something? That's my best guess, but I'm gonna throw the Mythic Soul Jam in A tier. Right, the Mythic Solar Plant, pretty much the same thing as the Dementor. They basically added, well, another one. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Mythic Solar Plant in A tier. Mythic Space Invader, I don't know how I did it, but this thing just took forever to get. And I only got this thing recently. I've been trying for this tier 2 legendary Mythic for over 12 updates. Just for the hassle you cost me, I'm throwing you down to B tier. As for the Mythic Sparkly Lemonade, that is a really refreshing drink. Don't know what's in it, but let me actually know in the comments below. Would you even drink what's in there? Kinda looks like some Galactic smoothie. I'm gonna just throw it in S tier and say nothing else. And I mean, people do really like that thing. Alright though, I'm just gonna go ahead and rank these 2 stars at the same time. We got the Stained Star and the Star Charm. I do like this more though. Mainly because it's blue, so I'm gonna throw it at a more higher A tier. And I mean, Stained Star is still pretty cool. And it had like some super super overpowered stats, so all the traders were like getting this thing and stuff. All the bubblers too, but I'm gonna throw it at an A tier. Alright, this star thingy, and also these other 3 star thingies. If I want to get me a shiny mythic Star-Lord, I'm gonna have to trade for like 4 more of these. I don't even know how many mythic Star-Lords I hatched, so little though. But I mean, I did only hatch 1 mythic Sunday Cone though. But anyways, mythic Starry Kitsune, I do like the galactic texture on this. I'm gonna throw that at a more higher A tier, and I'm just gonna throw this in A tier too. Alright though, mythic Stone Gargoyle. Unpopular opinion, but I would actually throw this inside the lava egg instead of the Night Dweller. That's just me though, but I'm gonna throw this in A tier nonetheless. Right though, there's the mythic Strawberry Snow Cone. I've been looking for that thing for pretty much the entire video, and I'll throw it at an S tier with the other snow cones, so now that's complete. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Alright though, now we have the mythic Strawberry Snow Cone. And if you look at it a certain way, it kind of looks like an off-brand dragon fruit. Alright, wherever I put the other 2 mythic snow cones at, which is all the way up here, and I'll just go ahead and do the same for the Vanilla Sunday Champion. Did I call the strawberry one a snow cone? I can't even remember anymore. I can't even think straight anymore. Alright though, mythic Sunburst, the thing I hatched on complete accident in like 10 mystery boxes. That was a fun memory, but I'll give that A tier. Alright, now for the mythic Sunday Cone. I only hatched 1 of these things, unfortunately, but nonetheless, this is still pretty cool, so I'm gonna give that A tier. Alright though, now we have ourselves the mythic Super Beach Boy. I believe the only mythic boy we ever got in all of BGS, and it's great, A tier. But anyways, we now have the mythic Super Pufferfish, which is still going Super Saiyan. I'll just give that A tier. And the mythic Super Trophy. Now I could just go ahead and throw this in A tier with the other Super Trophy, wherever that went, but I mean, it does contain the Golly Gem inside of it. And as you guys can see, both of those are in S tier. So since these 2 things basically contain the Golly Gem, a thing that's already in S tier, I think I should just move both of them up to S tier. I think that makes sense. But they made the Golly Gem really tiny. Only trophy size Golly Gems, so not big enough for S tier. But something we can throw in S tier is the mythic Surreal Seeger. If you thought the normal was huge, this is even crazier. Not even Eternal Cucumber is that big. Alright though, we're almost done. Now we got the mythic Sweet Treat. It basically looks like some sort of golden chocolate. Probably very expensive, but I'm gonna give that A tier. But now for the mythic Shock Lord. I was able to hatch a mythic Dominant Serpent. Unfortunately, I cannot hatch me a mythic Shock Lord. I mean, it did give me a shiny one, but I'm still gonna throw this in A tier. Plus, I do like the colors on a normal one better. But mythic the Sun though. Now say what you want, but I like astrology. As for the mythic Tidal God though, now when I saw this thing, I basically thought they just made the thing bigger and gave it a light blue color. So I'm just gonna throw it in A tier. Mythic Tiger Eye though, they basically took off the blindfold, so now we see its true self. It could actually go in the aura egg, so A tier. Mythic Toilet Doggy though, that right there is what you call a royal flush. Yeah gang, I should definitely go do stand up. Alright though, Mythic Toecat, another Super Saiyan pet. How many pets here go Super Saiyan? Can literally every pet in all bgsi do that? That's what I am starting to think. And we'll throw it out with our other Super Saiyans. Now I don't watch too much Dragon Ball, but I think blue here is much stronger. As for the mythic trio cube, we now have the Emerald Golem, Unicorn, and Infernal Dragon. Pretty OG trio when it comes to easy legendaries, so I'm gonna throw it in A tier. But now we have the mythic True Titan. Again, some pretty cool colors on this pet. I'm gonna give it A tier. Once again, I might move some of these pets up at the end. Alright though, Mythic Unicorn's up next. But once again, it is another basic tier 1 legendary, so they don't really do much with the mythic. I'm gonna throw it in B tier. As for the mythic Virus though, that does look pretty cool, don't get me wrong. Especially for it being added on release, I'll give it A. Mythic Void Crystal Parasite though, that's a pretty cool pet. I don't really have much to add to that. Give it A tier. Void Eye, Void Flame, Void Scorpion. Once again, not much to add to those things. But I'll go ahead and give the Mythic Void Eye B tier. We'll give it the highest B tier though. Mythic Void Flame though, I'll give A tier. For the Mythic Void Scorpion, which I only hatched like 1, 2, or maybe 3 of, I might as well give that A tier too. Mythic Water Serpent though. For its time, this was the closest legendary we had to a Leviathan. Just look at the face, even the color. I'm gonna just throw it in A tier though. Alright, then now we have the Mythic Wilted Branch. And not gonna lie, those are some pretty cool fiery colors. Pretty cool, I'll give that A tier. But now for the Mythic Wolf Lord. I'm not gonna say much about this Mythic Furry Leviathan, but I'll just give it A tier. The Mythic Woman Face God, we can also go ahead and throw an A tier too, wherever I put those at. They're basically all just really shock. Alright, before I actually rank this thing, I actually gotta see the name of this. Alright, this is called the Mythic Worm of Currents. Yeah, no shot I was guessing that. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it in A tier. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the pets I forgot to add. Well, the icons just came in late when I was making the tier list. But yeah, looking back in the names, we start off with the Mysterious Bloom, which I think looks pretty cool. I think this is from the Season 7 pass. That's what you get if you complete it. So I'll give that A tier. Alright, so now we have the normal rooted ratio and the golden rooted ratio. I'm just playing Mythic rooted ratio. But yeah, I know this here comes from out the Season 7 egg, where hatching shinies is literally impossible. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw both of them into A tier. And now we have the two Vector Lords. I think these here are also from the Season 7 egg, and I believe they're like the tier 1 legendary. They do look super cool though. So yeah, I'll give the normal Vector Lord A tier, and I'll give the Mythic Vector Lord A tier. And now we have the Yin Yang, and also the Mythic Yin Yang. Great to see this make a return in BGSI, and it just looks super cool. Unfortunately, I did have to skip this in the Infinite track because I didn't have Premium, but literally like every season pass I get, it just always appears in Premium, except for a few rare occasions where it doesn't. Let me know if you guys noticed that, but I'm giving that A tier, and the Mythic will also throw an A tier. But now we have the Starry Moth right here, which is also from the Season 7 pass. I believe this here, maybe it was free side or premium side. I'm not gonna go bother checking. This does look super cool, so I'm just gonna throw it in A tier. And as for our last two basic pets right here, the Wireframe Kitty and the Wireframe Dragon, hear me out, I think they look pretty cool. So I'm not gonna throw them in C tier, I'll give them B tier actually. But once again, it is impossible to hatch a shiny. But to end it off, we have the missing ones, and also the Mythic missing ones, where they basically just add a Z. We all literally thought Chromosomes was being added to BGSI, but this is actually a secret pet inside the Season 7 egg. So I'll give that A tier, and I'll give the Mythic missing ones. We'll give that a more higher A tier. So other than that, that right there is basically almost every pet ranked inside of Bubblegum Simulator Infinity. Obviously, I am missing a few ones, which I will go ahead and leave in the description. But yeah, obviously I didn't forget, we're gonna go ahead and move up some pets right now. So let's see, what could we possibly move up? Alright, let's go ahead and check down here. Lucid Leaf I guess is pretty cool. Venomoth I guess is pretty cool. Move up that Rainbow Marshmallow and also these two Mythic Crystal Dragons. Also I did the True Titan, but I was going to do it anyway. We might as well move up the Duality because I did put the normal Dogcat in S tier. And I actually put the normal Shard in S tier, so I gotta do the same for the Mythic. So yeah, other than that, that's all I have for you guys today. So yeah, here is now our finished list of almost every single pet ranked in BGSI. But one more time, I will go ahead and scroll down so you can see all the pets and find where I placed your favorite one. So yeah, other than that, that's all I have for you guys today. Obviously, I don't expect you guys to agree with my listings, so let me know where you guys will rank these pets in the comments below. And if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.